Our lights are working?
Yes, sir.
Good evening. The workshop meeting of the Tomball ISD Board of Trustees is called to order. Time is now 5:34 p.m. Central. Here we are on Monday, August 11th, 2025. We are gathered in the John P. Neubauer Administration Building in Tomball, Texas. For the record, a quorum of the Board of Trustees is present. The meeting is being recorded in accordance with Government Code Section 551.128. The main purpose of tonight's meeting is to receive reports from the administration and review the business agenda for the regular meeting, which will take place Tuesday evening, tomorrow evening. Any action regarding items on the business agenda will be taken at the regular meeting. This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees that is open to the public. However, it is not a meeting of the public. Public participation is limited to designated times during the meeting for citizen comment for those that have registered to speak in accordance with board procedures. We ask for your cooperation in ensuring that the meeting runs in an orderly manner. And Dr. Z, I'd just like to, before I turn it over to you, say that welcome back.
Thank you.
We're going to need to add more chairs on this side of the room as we continue to grow and expand the number of campuses that we have. And it is wonderful to see what looks like a refreshed and relaxed set of administrators, not only at the campus level, but at the central office. And so it's great to see the smiling faces. And I'm as excited as I know each of you are to be back. And as you've shared with us, there's been some real key moments as we've led up to today. And certainly was the Meet the Superintendent.
Yes.
A lot of excitement of that as new teachers had an opportunity to get to know Tomball ISD. Convocation.
A lot of excitement there for sure.
Wow.
A lot of talent.
Wow. Certainly what you've conveyed to the board about the great campus visits that you had with the campus leaders. As it relates to students, the number of parking spaces that I have seen painted and the amount of sweating that's going on there at the high school level is unbelievable. The sunrise, the meet the teachers, meet the cats, meet the cougars, it's off to a great start, and it really doesn't begin till tomorrow. And so congratulations in advance, and I look forward to a great 2025-2026 as we just cheer you on and thank you in advance to all the teachers and staff who I know will be working hard for student outcomes. And so with that, I'd like to turn the floor over to you, Dr. Z, for recognitions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pratt, our president, members of the board, and all of you in the audience tonight. We are off to a great start. As you have heard from Dr. Pratt, a lot of activities, and we completed today the final visit of all. This is a John P. Neubauer tradition that has continued, and I believe will always continue in Tomball as the cabinet goes to each and every campus. So we are ready for tomorrow and all that it will bring us. I'm going to start with recognitions, and that is the first item on the agenda is meet the staff, which I personally love. It's hard to believe we haven't always done them because it's just such a wonderful way to welcome you people either new to our district or new to their position. And we have 4 ladies in campus administration, and I will start with Claire Compton from the Early Excellence Academy. And make sure to introduce and recognize your family, Claire. Okay, let's make sure you're on. Try that one more time, Claire. I just want to make sure I hear you well. Nope, keep trying. It's not on yet. Yeah, they were working.
Try it one more time.
There you go.
Good evening.
There you go. You just have to get real close to it.
All right. Well, good evening, Dr. Salazar-Zamora, President Dr. Pratt, Cabinet, trustees, and guests. So I have with me my daughter, Brenly, and my husband, Barry. And I am very excited for them to be here with me. And she's a little shy, sorry. And I'm just also very honored and excited to be part of the Early Excellence family and part of the Tomball family now. We came from Fort Worth, and so everybody has just been so gracious and so amazing. And it's been a very warm welcome, and we very much appreciate it. Brinley will be starting at Tomball Elementary in second grade, so we're very excited for her to start her Tomball journey as well. So she's ready for tomorrow. You ready? She's ready.
She has a little bit of time to get ready.
Yeah. So it's been great, and we just appreciate all of you, and thank you for the opportunity and everything that you've done for us.
Thank you so much, Claire. Nice to meet you and your family. Next, we have, not new to Tomball, but new to her position, Beth Taylor from Lakewood Elementary School.
Okay, check. Okay. Good evening, Dr. Salazar-Zamora, President Dr. Pratt, Cabinet trustees, and guests. I'm extremely honored to be here tonight as the new principal of Lakewood Elementary. From the first day I stepped onto the campus, I was overwhelmed by the positivity, the warmth, and the community spirit that school brings. Lakewood has truly become home to me, and it's the staff, students, parents that make it feel that way. In my time as the assistant principal in the past 2 years, I've seen our teachers go above and beyond for students. Our students work hard and reach the high expectations we set for them, as well as the strong partnership that we work with our parents to promote student success and that teamwork together. Those relationships are the foundation of our campus. And as I step into my role as principal, my goal is to build on those strong relationships that make Lakewood so special while continuing to raise that bar. I want every student to feel known, supported, and inspired to reach their highest potential. I have family members with me here tonight. I have my mom and stepdad that have traveled all the way from Oklahoma to be here and cheer me on. They are some of my biggest cheerleaders, and I would say my mom has been one of my biggest role models that shaped me who I am today. Chris is also here with me. He is the one that stands by my side every day, day in, day out. Dare I say, even has tolerated me on some of those long days, but definitely someone I can come home to, talk to, and he is there to support me. I'm also fortunate to be very much surrounded by amazing collaborative colleagues and friends. So thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. The mom and dad from coming so far. We appreciate that. Next, we have Tylene Hicks, Tomball Intermediate School newest principal. Come on up, Tylene.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Salazar-Zamora, Board President Dr. Pratt, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and my colleagues, as well as everybody who's here tonight. My name is Tylene Hicks. I am very honored to be the new principal of Tomball Intermediate School. I'm excited about the opportunity to serve the Tomball Independent School District as well as the Tomball community. I spent the first 27 years of my career in California. I know that's not always favorable, but I look forward to spending the rest of my career here in Tomball ISD. My daughters, Katie and Tori, are in California, but they're watching us digitally. Hi, ladies, if you're listening. My dad is watching online. My boyfriend said he might show up, but I don't know if I see him, but he may be watching with my dad as well. But thank you once again for this amazing opportunity. I couldn't have asked for a more amazing start to a new career out here, so thank you.
Thank you, Tylene, and welcome. And also not new to Tomball, but new to her position, Jackie Santos, Grand Lakes Junior High School. And her mini-me.
Good evening, Dr. Z, President Dr. Pratt, Board of Trustees, Cabinet, and colleagues. My name is Jackie Santos, the proud principal of Grand Lakes Junior High. I'm accompanied tonight by my family. Everybody wave. A special thank you to my assistant and my assistant principals for also being here tonight. Thank you guys for coming. I did bring one special person up here. This is my daughter, Victoria. She's a junior at Tomball Memorial. Yay, still go Wildcats. I'd like to thank you all for allowing me this opportunity. I truly am grateful and honored to serve our community. Dr. Z asked me in my interview, why do you want to be a principal? And I shared with her that I want to be a role model. I do this for all of our kids who have big dreams. I do this for my daughter so that when she feels things are impossible, they are possible. From my first day teaching to today, I do this to inspire students and remind them that they can do anything. Thank you all for making my dreams possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Congratulations again to all of you. We are excited about the wonderful year ahead. Our next recognition is the incredible Tomball High School baseball team. Chris Scott, our brand new athletic director, is going to lead us in the recognition of this very special team. Chris.
All right, thank you, Dr. Z, President Pratt, Cabinet, and of course our Board of Trustees. It's my pleasure to be with you tonight to recognize some excellence that's been going on in Tomball ISD baseball for quite a while. I've had the direct pleasure of being able to see these young men and our coaching staff just continue the excellence, not just on the field, but just as people. They're great representatives of our community, and they really do bring our community together in a unique way. And so I'm going to have Coach Rush come up and say a few words about the team, but as he's making his way up, truly a historical run for in a lot of ways, and I'm sure he'll go into a little bit on that. But the other part I know about our team that I appreciate very much is if you want to come see the Cougs, you better get there early because the seats are limited. So come on up, Coach Rush.
We found that out a lot of times.
I'm going to set a bad example for my boys and use my cell phone for this.
Until tomorrow.
Yeah, until tomorrow. Until I turn it off at 7:20 tomorrow. Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Zamora, Mr. Scott, Dr. McKinney, Dr. Pratt, and our awesome school board members. Also thanks to my amazing wife, Sarah, who's principal at Oakcrest Elementary, for all the support. So this is my 15th year in Tomball, and I inherited a program that was already pretty good. But in 14 seasons, we've won 389 games and lost 124. And one of those was a 9-3 season in COVID that got cut short. So in the 13 seasons, we've gone 380 and 121, averaging 29 victories a season. Been to the state tournament 4 times, winning it twice. And then last year, we had a great run and narrowly lost in the state finals 5-4. And one of the better high school baseball games you could ever see. We just happened to be on the losing side. We've averaged going to the 4th round of the playoffs for the 13 seasons we were eligible. We've gone to 8 regional semifinals. That's the 4th round, 12 regional quarterfinals. That's the 3rd round. We're 13 out of 13 area rounds, winning 12 of them. The earliest we've ever been put out is in the 2nd round, 2014. Been by-district champs for all 13 years, 6 district champs. And our playoff record is an astounding 91 wins and 32 losses. And during that time, we've worked where we've played 53 extra weeks beyond the season. So it's been a pretty magical run, and the expectations are high. And we have high expectations for next year, too. Also have a bunch of great kids here. Okay, a lot of the seniors, they've gone on off to college, and then got a couple of kids that are still off playing because everybody plays all the time now. But another thing about them is we also routinely win the grade contest among the athletes at Tomball High School, at least amongst the boys. We don't ever beat the volleyball girls or the soccer girls, but we win the boys, and that's kind of our goal every year. And we also do, we adopt families during Christmas, and have been doing that for years. And we've made several Christmases really special. In fact, Pearson Jackson's not here, but he lost his father several years ago, and when he was a little boy, we adopted his family before we ever knew he was going to play for us. And he started in the state championship game at first base for us this year, and unbelievably, he started out as a team manager in 9th grade. We cut him, and he grew and got bigger and stronger and kept at it, and ended up starting in a state championship game. So a big success story there. Now he's going off to play college baseball. But anyway, we appreciate everything we do, that y'all do for us. Being in Tomball's been it's been just pretty magical. It's just an incredible town. Still feels like a one high school town to me, and that's kind of how I grew up in, and that's what I love, and I love the support that we have. So thank y'all.
Thank you. This is like running over there. Oh, shake the hands, shake the hands. Come on over and shake hands, boys. Take my ring off. I've done that before. Very proud of you. Proud of you. Proud of you. Great season. Proud of you. Proud of you. Very proud of you. Guys, great season. Proud of you. Thank you. Keep it up. I learned to take my ring. Take the ring off, or else. Congratulations again, Coach Rush, and to all of your extraordinary athletes. We look forward to seeing you again this year. Thank you again, gentlemen. I believe we all have one of these, and this is a huge honor. It was an incredible game, and we appreciate this very, very much, and actually a very memorable season. So thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay, moving on. So at this time, our president, Dr. Pratt, has reminded me, if you have come to visit and recognize one of our new Meet the Staff employees or somebody that was promoted, please go ahead if you'd like to exit now. We will not judge you at all. Some may envy you. Thank you again for supporting our leaders. We appreciate each and every one of you. Santos, you had a whole crew there, whole line. Of course. Having no public comment on agenda items this evening, President Dr. Pratt, I'd like to move to the reports. Our first report, I believe we are ready. Transportation Department, Dr. Stephen Gutierrez, Chief Operating Officer, and Sandy Dillman, Director of Transportation, will give us our first report of the evening. Take it away.
All right, good evening, Dr. Salazar Zamora, President Pratt, members of the board, and guests. It's my honor to be before you tonight alongside Director of Transportation Sandy Dillman to provide you an update regarding the Transportation Department. I'm going to start, and then we'll get this bus rolling, and Sandy will take over. Aha, badoonch. Thank you. One, I am so proud to say that in Tomball ISD, we offer transportation services to any student and all families who desire to utilize this service. This is not common in many districts with regulations or requirements for minimum distance from a stop. Because of that, because of exceptional service that we offer, proud to say that our ridership is about 50% of our student population. You see the ridership numbers for the 24-25 school year. Over 10,000 students utilize transportation. You may ask yourself, is that normal? You see the Texas average and the national average. And I think the reason why our average is higher is we do offer it to all students. And just like the person standing next to me, we have exceptional people in transportation services who provide a phenomenal job. They do a phenomenal job and provide an excellent service. And so before I turn it over to Sandy, I'd just like to publicly thank her for all the work that she does. We know that first week is going to be a little bit challenging, so we ask everyone to pack their patience, but we will and do get students to and from school with a smile on our face and hopefully on theirs too. So I just want to thank you for that work, Sandy. As the industry says, they like to say, Sandy definitely bleeds yellow. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Sandy Dillman.
Thank you, Dr. G. Just on a note on this slide, you guys know where I came from, so, you know, the state that she said, California, but their average is 17% ridership. So this is huge for us, especially for me. This is big because I'm not used to it, and so it was nice to see that we have so many students riding our buses. So transportation by the numbers, we have 142 drivers, and out of those drivers, we split them up between gen ed and regular special needs. Now, they can all go back and forth and intertwine, but we have about 98 general ed drivers, 36 special ed drivers, and 8 standby drivers. And our standby drivers are drivers that do everything. They drive regular ed routes, they drive sped routes, they never know what they're doing until they arrive at work. And sometimes they're out checking out a bus, doing a pre-trip, and we call them on the radio and bring them in and stick them on another bus, and then sometimes even another bus after that. So our standby drivers are pretty important to us. We have 44 special needs bus attendants, and then we have also a couple of standby bus attendants and 8 mechanics. We have grown in the mechanic department, and we have 5 at the Baker facility and 3 at TIC. The TIC facility, we utilize them for buses sometimes, but they do our white fleet and the maintenance and our white microbuses. And the Baker facility is for bus maintenance and repairs. And transportation, again, by the numbers, we have 206 buses, which I hope after tonight grows, please. We have 147 gen ed buses, 34 buses that are designated for special needs, 6 of the microbuses, and those are the white buses that Dr. Webb likes to drive, and taking people around parking lots. And we also have 19 trip buses on the TIC facility that I hope the number might not grow, but hopefully they'll get some newer buses if everything passes tonight and tomorrow. The mileage for me, this is also very huge. This is my 4th district I've been in, my 3rd in Texas, and I've never surpassed these kind of miles. We did 1,950,111 miles. 1.3 million of that was for gen ed, 610,000 was for sped, and we did a total of 197,000 miles. So we surpassed, in field trips, so we surpassed the 200,000 mark in miles, which is good for us in the state reporting, and for funding, we'll get a little bit of money back, more than we have been. And there's our 200, oh, I wonder what you did with that. Our staffing challenge, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information through the numbers since I've been here. Not that I do all the hiring. That's Dina Bigley is with me, my assistant director. Dina does most of the interviewing, and she has really killed it this summer and has been hiring, and it's been good. So while staffing continues to be a widespread concern throughout the nation for bus drivers, we do have some open routes that are covered by standby drivers, and our office staff, unfortunately, will be out driving. It's not, I mean, they'll be out with the kids, they're safe drivers and all, but it's unfortunate because they're not in the offices doing their jobs. But we don't want to delay routes. I can say that we have been a district that doesn't notify parents that we're not running route X, Y, and Z today. I live in a neighboring district, and my neighbors get emails, text messages, phone messages that their routes are not running for 3 days this week and 2 days next week because they're short on drivers. So we have been fortunate not to have to do that. My routing staff has done phenomenal in helping us split up routes to where we can make things work. So for the 22-23 school year, we started the year with 28 vacancies, and you can see it's been significantly lower every year. Right now, we're projected at, it's actually 12, so it's changed just a little bit since I gave this information. We've had a couple drivers that have left due to health reasons, and one moving out of the area and one for health reasons. So, but we're projected about 12 openings. And right now tonight, there's a body in every route, even if it's an office staff. So we should be okay tomorrow, minus the running late for traffic. What's new in transportation? All the finders. That's all you hear us talk about. Wayfinder, stop finder, info finder, viewfinder. It's all the finders. Wayfinder is a turn-by-turn directional navigation system for our drivers. With our previous system, we didn't have that turned on because it didn't work as well as this one here. It had drivers trying to do 3-point turns in a 40-foot bus on Park Road, and that just doesn't, that's not safe. So now it's live. If a driver is stopped for a traffic collision, or if they're stopped because a train is stuck on the tracks, every so many minutes it picks up and it'll send out a new information to parents that the bus is delayed. So it's actually live time. So that's a feature that we didn't have before. Viewfinder is a staff-facing management tool that allows the ability for staff to see the bus information at each campus, including when a bus is empty for AM and PM routes. So principals don't have to wonder if the buses still have kids on or if it's okay to go, to leave it, you know, everybody empty at the staff or at the school. And Stop Finder is the parent-facing management tool where parents can set up a geofence for their neighborhood or wherever they choose to do so. So they can set it as far out as they want, or as if they just want to know when the bus enters the neighborhood, it'll notify them when the bus crosses that geofence. If they have it set up from the campus, they're also allowed to view and follow the bus on the route. They don't see where it stops for the safety of the students, but they can see when it gets to their stop. So they don't know where the bus is stopping along the route for the protection of the students. The Stop Finder parent app. During our annual enrollment, the parents indicated if their children wanted to utilize transportation or not. And then when they did, if they chose yes, they got an invitation. We did struggle at the beginning. The app or the invite expired within like 5 or 6 days. And so we're having to resend them. We had the primary address listed is where the invitation goes to, and then that primary parent or guardian can invite whoever else they want. And over 12,000 invites have been sent out with and this has been updated today. There's been over 22,000 invites sent out. So that's including some multiples. That's also including parents giving permission for grandparents, daycare providers to get the invites as well. And we now have almost 12,000 subscriptions for parent app already in use. So that's grown. It's growing as we speak. The parent app, this kind of goes over stuff they can view, their bus stop, their pickup and drop off times. This was my test student for the summer school that we used. And if a parent's looking today, they will see what's on the left, which is just the information. And if they scroll over to tomorrow for the first day of school, they'll see what their bus information is. So we actually sent out a survey. I know I'm going to jump ahead here, so each authorized app user can track in real time the location of their child's bus. Notifications sent out to parents about arrival at the bus stop and established geofence will be more accurate compared to our previous system because they didn't have that. And then again, for safety reasons, parents will only be able to view their child's bus stop and not anywhere else. To properly utilize the Stop Finder system, students must wear their ID badges to scan on and off the bus. Thank you to Steve Guerrero. He made sure that the ID badges were delivered to campuses, and they're going to start issuing those passes out. And then just a little bit more of a reminder about AC in the buses. While they do have air conditioning in the buses, our route buses, They are only designed to keep the ambient temperature 10 to 15 degrees or cooler than the ambient temperature. And you have to think of, and they're a giant metal box that doesn't have insulation in it like our vehicles do. There's nothing there. It's just metal. So when they stop, and we stop every 0.3 of a mile for bus stops when we're in a neighborhood, so they don't get very far, and they stop and open the door again and let all the cool air out and let the cold, the hot air in. So we're encouraging our students to bring water, stay hydrated, and we keep this information on our website for parents. And this information actually came from the manufacturers. And for assistance with Stop Finder or any transportation relation issue, we've started a new email. I shared this at the admin rally, bushelp@tomballISD.net. The other day, I shared with Dr. G, we had 442 emails that were received overnight in this email, and by the end of the day, we had 18. So we have a few people helping answer the emails to get back to parents in a timely manner. So there you have transportation in a nutshell.
Mr. McStravick.
Sandy, I got a question for you. So
Yes.
can you dig down a little bit on you're saying the parent can see in real time where the child's bus is located, but they can only see their own bus stop. So is you had the graphic up here of like the route there. So what is it that the parent sees in real time on this chart?
In real time, it'll look like this. That's on the right here. They just time-wise, they won't see it stop. So they can see the bus moving, and then they'll see it stall. It's not moving. Eventually, they'll figure it out as the bus stop, but it's not. There's no streets listed, so they don't know exactly where it is unless they do some work. And most parents aren't going to do that, but.
So is it the pink or the red circle or the red?
That red circle right there.
It's the red circle.
Okay.
The red circle is the bus stop, or the pink circle is the bus stop, and the giant or the bigger circle is the bus. So they'll see it
Okay.
moving down. That's how I follow my husband everywhere.
Okay, so the donut, the red donut is your child's stop.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then the big red dot
Is the bus.
bus.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sandy,
Yes.
great job.
Thank you.
It's a big lift to staff every route. I remember this conversation during the COVID era and the last couple years, and this is marked improvement. So kudos to what you guys do to cultivate drivers. I know we've got a driver education program, and we're taking proactive steps there. And so while 12 may be the number today, that's definitely different, as you showed, from the past years. So appreciate you guys really being proactive. And I really want to kind of put that to rest. There's a perception that our community has that we have a kind of a persistent and chronic driver shortage. 10, 12, that may not be persistent or chronic. Maybe it's persistent, but we're able to operate all routes starting tomorrow.
Yes.
And for the future, until we can hire the 10 or 12, we will operate our buses.
Yep. And right now we have 2 or 3 in the onboarding area, and we have 2 or 3 bus attendants that have successfully received their learner's permit and will start training.
So you have a pipeline based upon the training regimen or the program that you've got. So
Yes, thanks
I think-
to Dina.
Yeah, I think that's a great one to reinforce when folks says, well, it's a highly competitive situation as well. Air conditioning. Are there any route buses? This is a loaded question.
It is.
Are there any route buses tomorrow that will not have a bus equipped with air conditioning?
Right now, that answer is no.
No. Okay. It may be hot tomorrow. It may be uncomfortable on that bus to the tune of 10 or 15 degrees, but every route bus has air conditioning.
Every route bus currently, right now, the mechanics confirmed before they left
You
tonight.
anticipated that question?
yeah.
Okay, got it.
She's learned.
Great. There's been a little social media chatter about, I didn't get the email or the registration or the, hey, can you help me with that? If I field a question, I need to send them to bushelp@tomballisd.net.
Yes, sir.
And from there, you'll be able to resolve all the route questions, the Stop Finder app questions, any of that. So it's kind of the one place to point
Yes.
anything transportation related.
And Justin sent out another email tonight, reminding parents where to look,
Okay.
where to go for help.
Okay.
And we sent out a survey earlier in the summer for summer school, asking what parents liked, disliked, what worked, what didn't work. We wanted all the feedback,
Yep.
not just the positive. We wanted the negative as well. And we contacted parents that sent in information that they weren't happy with something or something didn't work to find out what it was, and we're able to work through that with the parents. And most of it was just because it's new and we've never done it before.
Yeah.
And it's like I tried to explain to my staff, it's not just new to the parents, it's new to everybody. It's new to all of us, to all of our campuses. It's new to everybody.
Okay.
So,
One technical question. So we've got new badges. So do we have a reader on the buses that's reading that badge? How do we know that that child's on the bus or off of the bus? What is the actual means of which the technology is
So-
determining that?
now that's where this system and the other system that we used is similar. So the students get on and they actually scan. It's got an RFID card a chip in the card, and they scan, and it comes up green if the student's supposed to be on that bus. Or if they're at a bus stop and they scan, it comes up green if it's their correct bus stop. It turns red if it's not their correct school bus or their correct bus stop. So then the driver knows not to either let them off the bus or to call dispatch and get somebody from the campus that they're on the wrong bus and need to go to the correct one.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hey, since Sandy's still up here, this is a little bit of a prelude into something else we'll get to later on that you alluded to. You have 8 mechanics, correct? Is that
Wait,
what-
I'm sorry?
8 mechanics?
Yes, we have 5 that are at Baker facility and 3 at TIC.
Okay, so for your big diesel engines, how many different model brands are you running? Like international versus? I mean,
2.
2, okay.
We have
And-
Thomas and International.
Okay, so Thomas has its proprietary engines and International has their proprietary engines.
Yes. Well, and they typically, like right now, you can get them with the same engine in them.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
Okay, okay. And so do you have different engines, though, that the 8 mechanics are working on?
Yes.
Not
but-
just a model difference, but a true,
Yes, when the older international buses had a Navistar engine in them, and now they're using Cummins engine, and that's what Thomas is using as well.
okay, okay. So your mechanics are pretty much focused on kind of one type of engine, but they've got experience in others as well.
Yes, and they all just went to a training this summer that was provided by International Bus.
Okay, great, thank you.
Ms. Salem?
One quick question. On that email that Justin sent out, did it also, you said it reminded them to where to send if they needed help, but did it also remind them to like pack their patients, and that the first week of school is always crazy and everything runs slower?
Slower, yeah.
Yes, and about the AC in the buses and to have water as well?
No, it did not.
Could we do that?
But it was in the back to school letter.
But we can certainly
Yes.
reiterate that. I think those are good reminders. You know, I
absolutely.
know frustration at the beginning. We understand that reminder of it is hot, even with AC. You get in your car. I don't know about your car, but mine is hot.
Yep.
With a functional AC, and so it, you know, and it will be slower. There are more people on the road. We are back to school. Life is a little bit slower.
Yeah.
That first week is just,
Yeah, pack your patience. I like that, Tina. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you so much. We appreciate all that you do, Sandy and Stephen.
Okay, thank you.
Our next report is a P-TECH update. Our very own Dr. Michael Webb, Chief Academic Officer, will give us a wonderful overview and update. Dr. Webb.
Thank you.
And Bob Thompson. and Kevin Williams, and Lee Wright, Dr. Lee Wright. Anybody else would like to add to this fabulous presentation? Look, this is a lot of, yeah, a lot of horsepower, right. Takes a village with the P-TECH. We know that for sure.
All right, President Pratt, Dr. Zamora, members of the board and cabinet, it is our pleasure to represent or to present a team report on the Pathways in Technology Early College High School, otherwise known as P-TECH. This report will first review the great success of our Tomball Academy for the health professions located at Tomball Star Academy. It will continue with the required components of P-TECH, and then it will conclude with a proposal for a framework of our newest P-TECH, the Tomball Academy of Future Educators, located at Tomball West High School. So joining me for our team presentation this evening is Bob Thompson, who will be representing Tomball ISD as an educational partner. Dr. Lee Wright, who will be representing Tomball ISD as a business partner. Katrina Wingfield is not able to join us this evening, but she is our representative from Lone Star College and our partner from an Institute of Higher Education, and also another component of P-TECH. And then rounding it out, Kevin Williams, our proud principal of Tomball West High School. Mr. Thompson.
Thank you. Okay, we're very excited to be up here representing several people who are actually in the audience who've helped work on this project the past year or so. P-TECH, I think we need to begin by just looking at what that means, because that word is an obstacle. That's a challenging, when people hear P-TECH, you constantly hear, what does that mean? What is a P-TECH? P-TECH stands for Pathway in Technology Early College High School. It's really got that tech name because the very first P-TECH was an IBM-focused one in 2011. That was the very first P-TECH. And so that name's kind of stuck. There's other names like Industry Cluster Initiative Academy. That really didn't go too well across the country because of cluster probably. But P-TECH really is nothing more than, let's see, there's the clicker. I thought I had the clicker, I'm sorry. All right. P-TECH really is an early college with a career focus. That's the best way to explain it. It's early college. Early college dates back to 1966. The modern form of early college is really 2001. So a P-TECH is really a combination of early college with a career focus. Now, as you know, in an early college, the big piece about that is achieving your associates by the time you graduate. In a P-TECH, you're not only achieving your associates, but you're diving very, very deep into a specific industry, a career passion, and you're leaving with identified industrial certifications. Another advantage of being in a P-TECH is students who do graduate, they have first in line, that is a requirement in the model, first in line opportunity to interview with whatever the industry partner was. Sometimes you see those three symbols there represented by like a three-legged stool, but for a P-TECH you add that industry partner on top of the early college. Let's kind of touch base with our current P-TECH. And when you think of that P-TECH phrase, we've made the decision to kind of help with the promotion and the advertising and communication of it. We're going to use the STEM Tomball Academy of, and then we'll follow it with whatever that specified P-TECH is. And so the P-TECH at our current Tomball Star Academy is now known as the Tomball Academy of Healthcare. And you see our enrollment numbers there. The cohorts are capped at 25. So you see we have 25 set for next year. We have 25 sophomores. And the very first cohort was now entering the 11th grade. We have 22 students, so we've had attrition of only 3 students. We had 96 applicants last year for those 25 spots. This is from 2023, this map. This map shows the rapid growth of PTACs in Texas. The very first PTACs in Texas were up there around where America's team is, up there around Dallas. And you can see that's a, okay, I'm serious about that, okay. So Dallas and San Antonio are clearly leading the state with PTAC development and expansion, and that's one of the things the state is trying to promote is expansion in the Houston area and the rest of the state. But in 2023, that marked the first time in Texas that the number of PTACs passed up the number of early colleges. So in a very short amount of time, PTACs are clearly the preferred model that the state actually is promoting. There's two models the state has for college career readiness school models, and that's early college and PTAC. But the PTACs are clearly, and they're increasing. Well, last year there were 543 total early colleges and PTACs. This year we have 571. Tomball is probably that little tiny blue that's kind of covered there around the Tomball area where it's got multiple models. So Tomball Star Academy would be one of the blue. It's a multiple model. It's got early college in it and a PTAC. So that leads us to an exciting PTAC. You know, this is centered on the profession of all professions, and this is going to be a school within a school model at Tomball West High School. So at Tomball West High School, we will have the Academy of Future Educators. And so obviously that program of study is education and teaching. Some key pieces about that. Here's our objective. Again, it's that combination of a seamless transition to post-secondary and on into career and employment. Just some basics of the timeline. Well, last year, fall 2024, before the planning application, and I think that's one of the key things we do here in Tomball compared to other districts I'm finding, is that we don't wait to get approved on the program application side by the state. We go ahead and start the year ahead, right? So we are approved. We got our approval from the state in spring 2025. So this year is officially what's called the planning year. So we're well ahead. Actually, Kevin and I sat with our TEA coach a few weeks ago. Carla was also in that room. We only have a very few items left on the roadmap to opening. So we're well ahead of where most districts would be when they kind of start when the state receives the planning application. Kevin will talk in a little bit about some of the student recruitment initiatives that we've started and will continue in fall 2025. In 2026, we'll finish student selection. And then next year, about around this time, we'll be starting the first cohort at the Tomball Future Educators Academy. Some of the key pieces here, we're going to have cohorts of 50 students, and it's going to be district-wide. So it will be open up to all students, no matter where they're zoned across the district. If they are selected, they will become students at Tomball West High School. They'll become Tomball West High Schools no matter where they live if they are selected and they choose to go. They will have opportunity to participate in UIL. Two reasons here. Obviously, number one, UIL is offered at Tomball West, and as a Tomball West student, they'll have opportunity to participate in that UIL. But many of us in education, my colleagues and I, we've either coached, played, not only as a student, but we also continued that in our career. And so this is an opportunity for students who may want to not just be just a teacher, they want to be a coach, a band director, theater, whatever that's called, Carla, theater, what director? Carla was a theater director. But that's what we're aiming for there. So it's a recruitment, not only to be a teacher, but should you want to also coach, be a band director, work in theater, or so forth. They'll also have access to all organizations at Tomball West, including the teachers, the TAFE program across the state of Texas. That would be the career co-curricular organization. And of course, they'll have Tomball ISD staff as mentors. Part of the work that we've done, and that a lot of districts kind of wait till the end, or they kind of build the plane while they're going, we went ahead and got a head start on what would the continuum of work-based learning experiences look like. And so with many of the directors out in the audience, we worked together on the subcommittee to start looking at what would be some of the experiences we can connect our students to so that they start to learn the Tomball way. They start to learn and be part of what it means to be a teacher in Tomball ISD. And we took that and we put it inside the framework that leads up to Destination Excellence, using the continuum of work-based learning experiences that starts with kind of exposure at the very beginning in 9th grade to more in-depth experiences as they graduate. Now, my partner, Dr. Wingfield, was going to be here, and so as I talk about her part, don't hold me too much to this, but I think I've got it down. The students there, they'll graduate with the Associates of Art in Teaching. They'll take most of their coursework as juniors and seniors at the Lone Star Tomball campus. One of the things that she was also going to mention tonight is that in the fall of 2027, Lone Star is going to also start offering a full bachelor's program for teaching. So students, when they graduate, they would have an opportunity. Remember, the big thing with early colleges and P-TECH, for parents especially, is the cost savings that you got 2 years tuition-free paid, right? So students would have the option of continuing at Lone Star to complete their 4-year degree. They could easily, like they're doing now, if you get these 2 years, you can go to another university and start basically as a junior. More and more colleges, in teaching especially, they're starting what's called a +1 program across the state. Not many of them, but it's starting to grow, to which students, because they've already got the first 2 years done, depending on the number of hours they have, they can start working on their master's at the same time that they're completing their bachelor's. So they could really start leaving, by the time they're 21, 22 with their master's. Now, the college piece and the tuition, that's a big piece. It's a big piece for parents and students, but the litmus test for a P-TECH is the industry side. What is it like? What are the experiences like as students get to test out their career interest and passion? And so our business partner, it's us. We're having a long talk with ourselves as a business partner, right? So with the P-TECH that we have at Tomball Star, our business partner is HCA Tomball. So our business partner is Tomball ISD, and at this time I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lee Wright in Human Talent to talk about that perspective.
Well, our starting pitcher went deep tonight. I think that's what you call a quality start right there. So I'm just middle relief before our closer. So in this very unique P-TECH experience, we as Tomball ISD will serve as the business partner, and business and industry partners provide career mentoring, host site visits, can offer paid internships to enrolled students, and include serving on advisory councils to improve the alignment and programming of all the workforce needs. So the Tomball Academy of Future Educators will offer Tomball ISD students a seamless pathway from high school to college and into the educational workforce. That pathway consists of real-world work and learning experience through the cohort partnership between Lone Star College and Tomball ISD at Tomball West High School. Students will engage in many campus site visits and mentoring opportunities in the only A-rated school district in Harris County, which is also rated as having the best teachers in the region and the best place to teach in the region, as you know, and is on the screen, of course. Tomball ISD is one of the few model PLC districts in the state and has 14 model schools, of course. It is the flagship district for Great Expectations, with every school being a GE model school, and of course West Intermediate opening tomorrow as a GE school. 16 GE schools, the most in the nation. I think I already said that, but I'll say it twice. In our secondary schools, we have a locally implemented career model at these secondary campuses, which aligns positive character traits, TEACs, to post-secondary workplace success. which will be embedded. This is embedded in all of our curriculum at secondary, and certainly will be at Tomball West High School. So upon graduation, students will earn a diploma from Tomball West, an Associate of Arts in Teaching certificate from Lone Star College, a Texas Education Agency Education Aid 1 certification, be eligible for internship opportunities, and as Mr. Thompson mentioned, have priority status for paraprofessional job interviews here in Tomball ISD, our destination district. Additionally, if hired by Tomball ISD as a certified and qualified paraprofessional, they will be eligible to apply for the Grow Your Own program, which offers a no-cost pathway to support current staff members who aspire to become teachers and earn their Texas teaching certification. Through Grow Your Own, current Tomball ISD staff who hold that associate's degree or 60 hours will be able to earn their bachelor's degree in Texas teaching certificates while working and earning as a full-time classroom paraprofessional. So we are very proud to be the business partner here and to be able to develop these future leaders and future educators right here at our brand new high school that's opening. And now I believe our closer is coming up.
Some of the early survey data across PTECs across the world with the business partner, the students, the alumni, they identify that one of the key things with the business partner is the brand name, that matters when they're attracted to that PTEC. And so in Tomball ISD, there is a tremendous amount to be proud of. And so for our students to be able to get to the critical attributes and actually see PLCs, the great expectations, get behind the scenes of that, the training, the coaching that goes through that, our students be able to work alongside that element, not just receive the benefits of it as a student, will set us apart in this type of model. And so I will now turn it over to Mr. Excitement himself, Kevin Williams, who's going to talk with us about some of the marketing efforts that we've started and will continue to.
I told him to quit saying that. But as you already know, if you've been on social media, the recruiting and marketing part of this program started back in July. But there's a lot of groundwork that started before that Bob, Carla, Amanda, Justin, and Allison had done before I was hired onto this position to really get that foundation started. And then we had some conversations back in late spring to get this thing launched in July. And as we move forward with this, as a closer, I guess we got to get some people here and excited and interested in this PTEC program. Some of that will be, but not limited to, being at all 4 junior highs and doing some recruiting there. Using our career and college exploration class to have some very intentional conversations and mailers and conversations with those families to introduce them to this program. And that's where they're really going to start at that particular point. But when we're sitting at those junior highs, having those conversations with kids to get them excited about our profession, because it is the profession of professions. We're all very proud of that, and we want to get as many kids excited about that as well. And then also other parent meetings, parent youth, things like that, where we can just be out there to explain what this program is so they can be a part of this amazing program.
Are there any questions that we can answer about our current PTEC or the Tomball Academy of Future Educators?
Mr. McStravitt?
Are you going to let me go first again?
You know what? I'm going to override that and go with Mrs. Salem.
Yeah.
I have an easy question. Well, I think it's easy. Remind us on the Grow Your Own program, how do they have to serve in the district or work in the district so many years before they can apply for the Grow Your Own program, the paras?
All the time.
So currently our paraprofessionals work for 1 year, but we've talked as this is a cohort within our district, we would have those 2 years to be able to work with the students and kind of get the background, look at who those all-star kids are, and then be able to roll them straight into the program.
So they wouldn't have a waiting
Correct.
time to roll into.
Correct.
Well, this question, you may want to stay up there, Alicia. So this question kind of expands on that a little bit, but would there be, within the Grow Your Own program, would there be a priority between paras that are not in the cohort and those that come out of the cohort, out of the PTEC? So right now we've got, no one's in the PTAC, so everybody that's eligible for the Grow Your Own are paras that are currently employed. So my question is, I'm hoping that we'll even have more that we can handle within the Grow Your Own program.
So
how would we prioritize existing paras versus the PTAC?
So I think there's a balance of both. I think that, I know that we're in the process of filing for some additional grants and some other opportunities for funding to continue to grow our Grow Your Own process. We do have money in strategic plan for other pathways that'll be leading up to the future programs as well. So I think there'll be a balance in the different pathways. There'll be a pathway for students and there'll be a pathway for paras that are currently in that position.
Okay. Let's see. So, Bob, I got a question for you, or you can punt it. You were talking about the juniors and seniors would be doing most of their studying at Lone Star Tomball. Okay, but yet they're going to be West students. So, I guess we're going to have to do a little bit of thinking on master scheduling and after-school activities, all that kind of stuff, so that students who are in band or in athletics or in fine arts, they have the opportunity to still participate in those programs while they may be off campus the majority of the day.
Yes, sir. Great question. Kevin's all over this. We've had some conversations about this. One of the things about students who are in PTEC's early college is because they have to match the college schedule, they need to be on a block schedule. So we're pretty confident it's going to work. It's worked in other places. I've seen it work in other districts. So there are some things that Kevin's going to, now we're not going to need that schedule right off the bat, but we've already had conversations about scheduling and how to make sure that that's supported so students who are playing football, because that's not going to count as a college credit, and things like that. So we're aware of those logistics. They have been accomplished before across the state of Texas, and so we'll be good with that.
Okay. I think it's going to be important when we sell this that we make sure we don't oversell, because there may be some extracurriculars or co-curriculars that won't be amenable to that schedule.
Correct.
So I just want to make sure we're realistic in that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Bob, you can field this, or Lee can field it. We talked about the certificate that's going to come out of the PTEC is going to be this TEA Educational Aid 1. So help me with that. Is that a certification that we use all the time? We have all of our pairs, or at least that, or is that a step above what is considered normal? Help me with that certification.
Yeah, it is a paraprofessional.
It's not certainly standard. That's one that's certainly very desirable for our paraprofessionals upon hiring.
Okay.
But it's not standard per se. But it certainly would set somebody apart.
Okay, so it's a level above what would be considered minimal for the position.
Yes, sir.
Okay, at 1 step, 2 step?
I'd say 1 step.
Okay. Thank you. That's it. Oh, I guess just clarification. You can't, I'm going to use a Aggie term, you can't frog in, right? I mean, you're going to come in at 9th grade, and then you can't come in at 10th, 11th.
I believe that's correct. That's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Got a couple questions myself. For the Tomball Star Academy Associate's degree, is that one flavor, or do we have multiple focuses with that associate's degree? When you leave Tomball Star Academy, what is the diploma say from Lone Star College?
The Tomball Star Early College is the associate's degree, and the PTEC is the associate's for science.
Okay, so it's a plain vanilla associate's degree from Tomball Star?
Yeah. Your traditional early college
It's not a fair way to say it, but I just am trying to...
Yeah, it's a free 2-year associate's degree, and that's what early colleges have.
Yeah.
Now, the PTEC, they have an associate's degree, associates of science.
Okay.
Both associate's degree, they're not bachelor's.
So, Bob, I get the PTAC, great explanation. Was that a question?
Okay. Yeah, the standard one's Associate of Arts. Thank you.
Okay, let me play that back. So, at Tomball Star Academy, the diploma that they graduate with is an associate's degree in arts.
Correct.
With our P-TECH, it will be an associate's degree in science.
That's the one that our current P-TECH has, Associates in Science.
For health.
Correct. Yes,
For
sir.
this program, it'll be what?
Associates of Teaching.
Teaching. Okay, thank you. I didn't get the nuance of what is our early college then? So I get the P-TECH is early college with a career focus. What is early college?
Early college is a program where students are able to start taking basically their first 2 years of college while they're completing their high school diploma.
Okay, so that's our Tomball Star.
Correct.
That's Tomball Star.
Okay, so what is our hybrid then? I didn't catch, like, what is the twist we're doing that what's called a hybrid?
We have two schools within a school.
Oh,
We have an early
okay.
college and a P-TECH, which made us a blue dot as a hybrid.
I got it, okay.
But not a hybrid program, hybrid facility.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, thank you.
But this time, with the new P-TECH, we're going to, for the educators, right, which made a lot of sense, is you keep them in a comprehensive high school so that they have the ability to go through UIL, go through all the other organizations, because ultimately, that's where they'll be, right? Within an environment where there's clubs and organizations.
Which kiddo, considering health, might want to do that instead, right?
Right.
Because of the comprehensive high school experience. So on that, are we needing to do anything different with our Tomball West facility planning? Is there anything that we're needing to do for future educators, outfit classrooms differently, do anything different, or is this our standard setup that we have planned will work here?
So we have planned, we've thought about this from the beginning, and so anything differently is already being worked through.
Okay.
Yeah, but a good question.
What I like about this, in addition to just ensuring that our students are leaving with a career focus, is this really addresses my concern about capacity at Tomball West. So, as many as 200 students, once you have this rolling, over the course of 4 years would be enrolled. And who knows how many will come from the Tomball West feeder pattern?
Correct.
Versus, the other two comprehensive high school feeder patterns. So for me, it feels like a win-win-win-win all the way around everywhere. So I love this. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Okay, no additional questions? Thank you so much, gentlemen. Great job. Appreciate it.
Hey, Martha, I really like the thoughtfulness that went into not only the presentation, but just the way y'all got it structured. So
Team has done an incredible job since the inception of the idea. And I have to tell you, I love early colleges, I love P-TECHs, but there is something special when you're an educator as you prepare future educators. It's exciting. And I know we'll have many future educators that will benefit, as well as the district itself. So it's super exciting. Okay, we're going to continue with excellence. District Performance Report. Again, Dr. Michael Webb. I don't think you have a whole team on this one, do you? I was just checking. Our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Webb.
President Pratt, Dr. Zamora, members of the board, I am pleased to present the 2025 STAR Performance Report this evening. In April of 2025, we did receive our 2023 accountability rating. That was the first time TEA has released an accountability rating in 5 years. Tomball ISD maintained an A rating. We anticipate our 2025 ratings to be released on Thursday, and then our 2024 ratings to be released on Friday. Accountability this entire decade has been off track. What has not been off track is Tomball ISD academic achievement has been sustained at a very high level. And again, I have the pleasure of reporting the state assessment results, but these results are a byproduct of our culture. These results are because of high enrollment, high participation in UIL. These results are a result of high participation in fine arts. These results are a direct result of our strong campus principals, our teachers, our directors. These results are a result of our families and our parents that contribute to our culture. Although I am presenting on STAR state assessment results, these results are not a result of ultra focus every single day on test scores. We have an ultra focus on high quality instruction, and as a result, the byproduct is the very strong performance that you will see from 2025. Start off with Algebra 1, I'll start off with an explanation of how we report these scores. This is no different from the past few years. What you'll see is a raw score. A raw score is the average of the proficiency levels of approaches, meets, and masters. So for example, if our approaches is 80%, meets is 30%, masters is 20%, that would be a sum of 130 divided by 3, would give us a raw score of 43%. This raw score is then converted and scaled to an A through F accountability rating, again, which will be released at the end of this week. I don't want you to get confused when we go through the scores to think that a 43 is not a good score. It's simply a raw score. It should not be interpreted as an A, B, C, D, or an F. So let's begin with Algebra 1. Algebra 1 continued to have sustained, strong performance across the district. Tomball remains the #1 district regionally and among our competitive districts across the state in Algebra 1. We maintained an A rating, a projected A rating with a scale score projected of 95. Willowwood Junior High, Grand Lakes, and Creekside Park achieved 100% approaches also on Algebra 1 at the 8th grade level. When we move to grades, math, grades 3 through 8, I'm going to exclude grade 7. I'm going to come back and explain in depth the nuances of a new law and how students test at the 7th grade level. So when we look at this bar graph, again, we are seeing significant growth in grades 3 through 8, excluding grade 7. So I did go back and retroactively, 23, 24, I've excluded grade 7, and 22, 23, I've also excluded grade 7. So you see a fair comparison across the 3 years. So when you look at grades 3 through 8, we are achieving at all of these levels, with the exception of grade 7, a 92 on the A through F scale projected. We maintained A designations again for 4 through 8 as we have for the past several years, but grade 3 math improved from a projected B to an A designation as a result of the 2025 STAR scores. So Senate Bill 2024, I want to go in depth on how to look at grade 7 and the nuances of how we're reporting grade 7 STAR scores. So Senate Bill 2021-24 allows school districts across the state of Texas to automatically enroll in an accelerated program any student in the top 40% on the 5th grade STAR. Of course, parents have the option to opt out, but this is an automatic accelerated path into our TAP program. So if you look at grade 6, the way we have reconfigured our curriculum is if you qualify for grade 6 math TAP, you would take all of grade 6 in 1 year and half of grade 7, and then you would take the 6th grade STAR. If you are in 7th grade TAP, you take half of grade 7, and then you would take the 8th grade STAR. We are required by law to administer the test that is representative of 50% or above of the curriculum. So we are, in 1 year, grade 7 math TAP represents 100% of the 8th grade standards, so therefore we have to administer the 8th grade test to our 7th grade students. Essentially, this cohort of students skip the 7th grade STAR test. That then positions them to take Algebra 1 in 8th grade. So what this does is it completely eliminates our former Algebra 1 placement test. It significantly increases the number of students enrolling in Algebra 1 at grade 8, but it also significantly reduces the number of STAR testers in grade 7. What I'll explain in just a moment, this does create ability testing for grade 7 only. In no other grade, in no other content area do we ability test, but in grade 7 you will see that we are split out by ability. It's important to remember that TEA has identified Tomball ISD. This is a news clip from the Texas Express that Tomball ISD was one of 3 districts that were highlighted and promoted as a model district in responding to 21-24. Number one, it's important to know that districts had the opportunity to waive 21-24 for their first school year. Dave Sertivell, our Director of Mathematics and Science, implemented this model, however, within 30 days. The law was signed on July 1st, and then by August 1st, we had processes to begin calling parents to notify them if they met criteria for an automatic admission into 6th grade TAP. It's also important to know that many districts across the state do not offer Algebra 1 at the 8th grade. This law was to compel those districts to begin offering accelerated pathway. Other districts that do comply with the law don't necessarily have our same model. For example, they might provide a summer bridge program, and their accelerated testers don't skip grade 7, and they take the grade 7 test. So it's becoming more and more difficult to compare grade 7 to other districts when other districts are not required to have the same model of acceleration as we do. So let's look at grade 7 and how the students are dispersed for state testing purposes. So we still have a double accelerated path. So these are parents who are opting for their students following 6th grade TAP to take a placement test and then take the Algebra 1 test in 7th grade. We have 202 students that are double accelerated. This has been going on for a number of years and well before 21-24, but again, many other districts do not provide double acceleration. As a result of 21-24, and remember our practices that have been in place for many, many years, we have 716 7th grade students taking the 8th grade STAR. So this only leaves 859 students who are all on level taking the 7th grade STAR in Tomball. So this is a decline just from last year of 44% of 7th grade testers. Testers are either double accelerated or they are accelerated. Only on-level 7th graders take the 7th grade STAR, and 7th grade students in 7th grade TAP must take the 8th grade STAR because the majority of their standards are 8th grade standards in the 8th grade. So then your question is, we took out grade 7, and I gave you a comparison over 3 years of where are we grades 3 through 8 with the exclusion of grade 7. We are increasing over the 3 years. So then the next question is then, okay, now that we have a new model for 7th grade testing, where are our 7th grade on-level testers compared to last year's 7th grade on-level testers? So if you look, we saw a gain with on-grade level testers too. So we increased by 3 raw percentage points. In comparison to 2024, this is just our second year, our first full year to have only 7th graders on level taking the 7th grade STAR. We outperformed the state average by 11% with just our on-level testers. But this again makes it difficult to make inter-district comparisons because of the varied methods of implementation of House Bill 2124. The overall question then becomes, is Senate Bill 2021-24 working in Tomball ISD? I think there are 2 numbers that answer this question. Are our accelerated testers, how are they performing as a result of this law? Number 1, our 8th grade math scores rank number 1 among competitive districts and regional districts. Number 2, Algebra 1 is ranked number 1 among all competitive districts and, of course, all regional districts. And we continue to see increases in grade 7 on-level testing. Moving on to English 1 and English 2, we see sustained performance in both of these levels, both of these EOCs at the high school level. 1 out of 4 English 1 students is scoring a 10 on the extended constructed response. This is the writing portion of the English 1 EOC, and this is phenomenal because many districts, it's completely the opposite. 1 out of 4 are scoring 0 or 3. You can see with writing over 50% of both English 1 and English 2, all students scoring an 8 or above on the ECR. And then you see Tomball High School, Tomball Memorial, Tomball Star, the TAP students averaging a 9 out of 10 on the extended constructed response. And then our students with disabilities increased double digits, 10 points in approaches over 2024 in the content area of English 1. So reading language arts, grades 3 through 8, continue to be a foundation for literacy and academic learning throughout the school career in Tomball ISD. We do retain an A rating without exceptions, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, grade 6, grade 7, grade 8, at a projected 92 in all of those levels. That will be an A, we projected A designation at the end of this week, again in grades 3 through 8. And it's important to know here, the reason that we have such strong results in our high school EOCs is because 36% of our 8th graders scored a perfect 10 on their ECR, and 64% scored an 8 or higher on their extended constructed response. Science, grades 5 and grades 8, biology 1. Again, this is our second year of new standards, new revised TEKS with the engineering focus, also with new textbooks and resources. We continue to rank number 1 regionally and number 2 in competitive districts in grades 5 and 8 science, as well as biology. 8th grade science improved by 7% in meets and 8% in masters compared to last year. So again, continue to see strong performance in all 3 of these areas. Social studies, grade 8, we dipped a little bit on the A through F, but we increased. I think this is important. Even though there is a decrease in the social studies grade 8 scores, we saw an increase of 1 ranking among our competitive districts. The percent of students receiving full credit on the short constructed response in grade 8 increased by 8%, and then we retained the number 1 ranking for U.S. History EOC. Want to dig in a little bit further on the grade 8 results. The grade 8 results has been a topic of conversation with the State Board of Education, with Commissioner Morath. So overall, the state of Texas is seeing comparatively low performance on 8th grade U.S. History STAR results. This graph here will represent the increased number of students who are not successful on the grade 8 social studies exam. That includes the state level, that includes Region 4, that includes the number 1 competitive district in our cohort, and it also includes the number 2 competitive district within our cohort. The negative growth rate has been seen across the board. In part, this is due because the social studies, all of social studies, but in particular the 8th grade social studies standards have not been revised since 2011. We continue to work on a textbook adopted in 2015. The standards that were written in 2011 position school districts to give students a grade 8 social studies test the second week in May. That test has been moved up with STAR Redesign 2.0 in the last 2 years. Now we're taking that test in the second week of April. So the breadth of the standards, and again, this is the conversation at the state level, it is difficult for all districts to meet the demand of the breadth of the 8th grade standards. For example, the Civil War and Reconstruction, fully introducing those topics cannot occur by the 30th week of school. Increased westward expansion, also taught in U.S. history, is not complete by the time of the STAR test. The revision of the state standards was due in 2021, and due to a number of different circumstances has been delayed. We do anticipate new standards by the school year 2027. We are not waiting for adjusted standards by the state. What we are doing is adjusting our years at a glance. Now, grade 7 is Texas history, but we can advance more introduction of topics such as the Civil War and Reconstruction in 7th grade Texas history. We can talk about westward expansion in 7th grade Texas history in order to give our students a more competitive edge when they set for this test in the second week of April. Are there any questions I can answer about the 2025 STAR performance?
Can you go back to the raw score, how it's calculated? There we go. Is it 80% of our, in this example, 80% of students are at approaches or above, 30% are at meets and above. I don't understand this.
So approaches, the approaches percentage includes all students. So if you were meets, you're also in the approaches.
Okay.
If you're a master's, you're also in the approaches. If you're master's, you're not included in the meets, however. Does that answer your question?
Yes. It's a strange number. So all the bar charts, the rest of the, were the raw score.
It's the, yes.
Okay.
It's, the percentage would not equal to 100%, which I
Right.
think is you're asking for approaches, meets, and masters. To add those up would not equal 100.
Right.
Michael, I got one question.
Go ahead, Mr. Mistrowicz.
So we spent some time last year talking about the AI grading of the ECRs. So we've been through that process one more time. Any insight into how that's going? I know we had the opportunity to file like
appeals.
Yeah, appeals. So how did that work this year?
We continue to file appeals on the ECR results, as well as writing results in TELPAS. But we are filing significantly fewer appeals than we've had in the past. For example, for TELPAS, we filed only 12. 10 were overturned, and the students earned a higher proficiency level. For the ECR, on average, we probably are appealing around 75, which is down from the hundreds that we used to appeal. So we do feel that the hybrid scoring at TEA is becoming more accurate.
Hey, Dr. Webb, what was our opt-in, opt-out on a kind of an aggregate percentage for STAR?
Of the entire?
Yeah, just 98%, 99% opt-in?
Participation rate, I would say, is very high. So the opt-out, I'm less than probably 1%.
Okay.
Probably less than 1%.
Okay. Computer versus paper, what percent are taking it on paper?
0.
0. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, hearing no additional questions.
Actually, I can't let that go.
Hold on.
That was a massive, I mean, I think we need a round of applause for the body of work that was just presented. We're getting caught up in the explanation of the results, but the results are off the chart. So, go to your first slide, Dr. Webb. I'm just going to pause here because I think it's worth the.
While you're doing that,
Yeah.
Dr. Webb, remember that additional question I asked at the campuses every time we went? After you do that, don't forget to add the additional statement.
Oh, there's a bonus?
There's it's a big
Okay.
bonus.
So, the projection for 2025 STAR is A-rated.
Correct.
The projection for 2024 STAR is?
A-rated.
The results of 2023 was?
A-rated.
A-rated.
Is there anything before that?
They've all been A since
So-
the inception of the accountability system.
So 3 years, back to back to back, A-rated.
Yes, sir.
Likely to be the only A-rated school district back to back to back in Harris County?
Well, we would have to be back to back because how many,
Sure.
everyone here knows this, how many
I'm just trying to help.
A-rated school districts are in Harris County, team? And who is it?
So you're kind of getting where I'm going.
But actually, Dr. Webb has one additional statement, a little fun fact.
That's right. Tomball ISD is the only district in the state of Texas with an A rating and an enrollment of higher than 23,000 students.
Okay. Wow. You said something that was super important, which I think is the fundamental element here. And you said that the focus is not on the test or tests. You said the focus was on what, which is leading to these results.
The focus is on our culture. That's Great Expectations, that's athletics, that's UIL, that's fine arts, that's the safety of our buildings. That's a PLC model at scale in our district. It's a collaborative culture, and that's what the focus is on every day operationally.
And our boulders of high-quality instruction, trust, and a collaborative culture.
Thank you.
Okay. Hearing no additional questions, thank you very much, Dr. Webb. Job well done. Our next report is a 25-26 Tomball ISD Student Code of Conduct, Student Handbook, and Digital Resources Acceptable Use and Internet Safety Policy. Holly Sherman, our General Counsel, will present this report. Holly.
Oh, is this mine? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for bearing with me. I'm sorry that I have to follow that presentation. Good evening, Dr. Salazar Zamora, President Pratt, members of the board, cabinet, and guests. Normally you hear from Ms. Graves at this time of year. She could not be with us this evening, so you will be hearing from me about revisions to the Student Code of Conduct and the Student Handbook for the 25-26 school year, followed by an update on two policies that you have on your agenda. So we're going to start with the revisions to the handbook and actually start with the Code of Conduct. So just as a reminder, the board by policy does approve the Student Code of Conduct, so you will see that as an agenda item. The Student Handbook is administratively done, so this is an information item when we get to the Student Handbook. But we will start with the Student Code of Conduct. Most of the changes that you will see, the majority of them, are based on legislation that came out of the 89th regular session. And so you will see some changes within the Student Code of Conduct and within the Student Handbook that are minor changes to some of the verbiage and the language used, but most of the changes will be changes based on legislation. So in the Student Code of Conduct, there is some text that's, and we're kind of go through these chronologically as you would have seen them in the documents. So there is some text that's added throughout the Code of Conduct related to the campus behavior coordinator. You'll see that term substituted in for principal or assistant principal. That is because House Bill 6 no longer allows us to have within our District of Innovation plan an exemption from any provision in Chapter 37. So we will be required to have campus behavior coordinators for the upcoming school year. Also, you'll see some added language about a notice that will be issued later from TEA that must be provided to parents. Under the mistreatment of others, there is a prohibition against anti-Semitic behavior that's added based on a new law. You'll see prohibited items. A short barrel firearm has been added to that list. There's also substantial language added regarding House Bill 1481, which we'll talk more about in depth in the policy update. But that language is regarding that prohibition of personal communication devices. Also, there is a restriction on the use of AI and describing that in certain ways as being academic dishonesty, and that's added as an offense within the book. Also, there's some language added. No longer is possession of an e-cigarette a mandatory DAEP consequence. Now it is a discretionary DAEP, and if not a discretionary DAEP, then it's mandatory 10 days in ISS. So you'll see that language in your Student Code of Conduct as well. Also, there's language regarding our current practice that we do not have a policy in place for disciplinary placement agreements with parents. There's some new language that is from the statute, House Bill 6, regarding formal teacher removal and what needs to happen there, the circumstances that can occur, and then what happens in that process. Also, you'll see some changes to in-school suspension, or ISS. Now, ISS can be assigned for an unlimited amount of time with a 10-day review. after every 10 days that a student is there. And then we have to provide appropriate program supports while the student is in ISS. There are some changes to OSS as well. They've added behaviors that can prompt OSS for a student under grade 3 or a student who is classified as homeless. They've broadened how a student can be placed in OSS for certain behaviors if they are below grade 3 or homeless. Also, there is some language from House Bill 6 pertaining to a parent, and they can request that a student be given the consequence of ISS instead of OSS if they can show extenuating circumstances that they can't provide care for the child while they are suspended from school, but it's still up to administrator discretion as to whether to grant that request. There are some changes under DAEP placement, like I mentioned, the discretionary placement now, which is a change because it used to be mandatory, for possession of e-cigarettes or vapes. Now that is a discretionary DAEP placement, mandatory 10 days of ISS. Also, there were some other mandatory placements that were added. Also, under expulsion, you will see certain mandatory things change from discretionary to mandatory expulsions, including assault of school personnel, and then certain Title V felonies. They've also changed language that talks about offenses occurring off of school district property, and those now fall under certain mandatory expulsions for certain Title V felonies. There is also an added section relating to virtual expulsion. Virtual expulsion is discussed in 2 different statutes, House Bill 6 and Senate Bill 569, and you'll see language from both. They don't really mesh exactly, so we'll have to figure that out, but you can see that language from those statutes that's required to be in there. And then there's a term added, anti-Semitism is added to the glossary. So moving on to the student handbook, a lot of changes within there. One of the changes you'll see is the deletion of any reference to the Texas Virtual School Network. That is going to be phased out. That will no longer exist. And school districts now have the ability to have virtual or hybrid programs, which we currently don't have one of those. So that's a change that you will see throughout the student handbook. Under compulsory attendance, which has to do with excused absences, you'll see a few different categories added to what constitutes an excused absence, one of those being an appointment with a mental health provider, and another being absences for attendance in a release time course in religious instruction, and that would count for an excused absence up to a certain amount of time. Also, you will see changes within the student handbook, significant changes under complaints and concerns when it pertains to parent grievances. Those are changes that are reflected in Senate Bill 12, and they're currently what we will have in the student handbook. And then we will see a policy update later that updates our policy to match that. Also, you'll see the same thing within the Student Code of Conduct. You'll see references to the Campus Behavior Coordinator added to the student handbook as well as like with the Code of Conduct. There's a change to gender-based harassment is now titled sex-based harassment. It has a different definition that is also based on new legislation. And then we've added the requirement to wear the student ID badge to the dress code. You will see within the handbook also House Bill 1481 addressing the prohibition of personal communication devices. That is also defined. The term is defined, and all of the different items that constitute a personal communication device are listed within the handbook. It also dictates that the device must be turned off or silenced during the school day and stored in a backpack, locker, or other secure area. We'll talk more about that in a minute with the policy update. We also have to require parental consent. This was actually in our handbook before and in our policy. We do have a form, but now it's in the law that parents have to provide consent before a student can participate in a school-sponsored or school-authorized club. And so that is now in the handbook as well and references the statute. There's some clarification language added, and this is not based on a statute, to the exemption policy for students in high school courses. and clarifying the number of absences that they can have in a one semester course. A spring semester course, they can have no more than 3 absences. We also have added some verbiage, and this is required by Senate Bill 12, regarding health-related services that are provided by the district, and then a parent's right to opt out of those services, which would be accomplished through the Home Access Center. Then also in the handbook, you will see, based on statutory revisions, revised language about requiring postings of board meetings with 3 business days advance notice versus 72 hours. And then you'll see some verbiage added about giving parents information about the safe storage of firearms. We're now required by the law to give notice 3 times per year about this information, and so the handbook is one of those places to provide that. You'll also see in the student handbook, and we'll discuss more in the policy update, information about library books and library materials. Parents can submit a list under Senate Bill 13 of library materials that their child may not check out of the library. Also, parents are entitled to a detailed record or a list of books that their child has checked out and information on that. And then also information regarding any challenges to library material. So those are the major changes in the handbook. You'll also see at the back of the handbook, we include our acceptable use policy for technology. There's been some changes to that just to align with current technology trends, addresses AI and some certain legal requirements. You'll see a form as well that pertains to the SCOPE Act, which was passed in the last legislative session. Gives a little bit more detailed information about the types of software and applications that the district uses, and that is to comply with the SCOPE Act from the last legislative session. So are there any questions on my very quick review of the handbook and student code of conduct?
Maybe we go to policy, and then if there's anything lingering from this part, we address those at the same time, because we may be holding back.
Right. Okay, let's jump into the policy update. So we are required, the board is required, under House Bill 1481 to adopt a policy prohibiting the use of personal communication devices during the school day, student use of personal communication devices during the school day by September 18th. So that's why you see it on your consent agenda for tomorrow. Also, Senate Bill 13, which pertains to library collections and the challenge process, that requires the board to adopt a policy regarding the acquisition of library books by September 1st. And so you will see both policy FNCE local and policy EFB local on your consent agenda. Both of those have been through review by the policy committee. We actually met and reviewed those. TASB came out with their model policies for these, and we went through and had a couple of revisions, and so the version that you have is the revised version. So first we'll talk about policy FNCE local. The changes to that are based on House Bill 1481, which is the prohibition of student use of personal communication devices during the school day. So this bill requires that the school district adopt a policy prohibiting personal communication devices being used by students during the school day. They don't define school day, but it is school day within the statute. They provide a definition of personal communication device within the statute. It's all the things listed there. The major things that jump out are cell phones, smartwatches, any other electronic device that is capable of telecommunication or digital communication, which could include a student laptop. But it does exclude devices that are provided to the student by the district. Then the statute provides an option here. The policy can either prohibit students from bringing the devices onto school property at all, or it can allow the district to designate a method of storage while on school property. Additionally, the policy has to authorize the use of a device to implement an IEP for special ed students, a 504 plan, based on a physician directive or another health or safety protocol that's established by law, the district, or the campus. So when you look at your policy FNCE, we already had one of those, and it has been changed and revised. You have the red line version to align with language from the statute, and TASB has used the direct verbiage directly from the statute. It does prohibit student use of personal communication devices while on school property during the school day, and this version does allow the student to store the device in accordance with administrative regulations while on school property. And that administrative regulations would refer back to where we have verbiage in the handbook to say in a backpack, locker, or another secured area. The policy does note that the student is subject to disciplinary consequences in accordance with the Student Code of Conduct and identifies a consequence including confiscation of the device. The policy does specify that retrieval of the device shall be in accordance with administrative guidelines, and also provides the district the ability to dispose of the device if it is not received or not retrieved by the parent after the appropriate notice by law. And then the policy also does provide for those three different exceptions that are required by the statute. So that's policy FNCE local. Our next policy is EFB local, which we also already had. Didn't have quite as many changes as FNCE. But the changes of policy EFB local are based on Senate Bill 13, which pertains to library collections and challenges. Does require that by September 1st, the board adopt a policy regarding the acquisition of library materials. It must require that library collections exclude content that is indecent or profane, and those terms are defined by the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, TSLAC, so that references them. The bill requires that schools give parents access to the library catalog and records of what books their child obtained through an online portal. Also gives the parent the ability to submit a request to the district to say what books the student cannot check out. It gives the board the opportunity to establish a school library advisory council, which would operate very much like a SHAC that provides some guidance. And requires the board to publish publicly, give some procedures for procurement and for handling donations of books, library books, requires that we publish publicly and that the board approve or reject a list of proposed or recommended library materials that have been donated or that are proposed for procurement. And then the statute establishes some detailed procedures for library book challenges. So our policy EFB local already addressed a lot of these different areas, and so there's been some minor revisions to some of the sections and then some major revisions to especially two of the sections. So one of those major revisions is to the recommendation and procurement process, because now that has to go through the Board of Trustees. And you'll see within the policy that in developing a list of recommended books, the guidelines and the factors to consider have not changed. That's still within the policy. But now the recommended list has to be presented to the board to approve or to reject, and then it has to be made publicly available and accessible for 30 days prior to the board's vote. So you'll see those changes reflected in the policy. Also, there's some language added to parental involvement, which also addresses the parents' access to the online catalog, to making a request to for students for materials that the parent's child cannot check out from the library, which are things that practices we already have in place. Another major change is the protection, well, this is not a major change, but protection from inappropriate material. That section was already there. They've just aligned it to be with TSLAC standards and using those specific terms, indecent and profane, and as those are defined by TSLAC. And then another section that had some significant changes was the challenge of library material. It gives a different process for the formal challenge. What we currently have is a library book review committee. The statute allows us to keep that practice in place, which this policy reflects, but then gives the board the ability to hear an appeal and a timeline for that, gives a process for that as well. And then it requires notice to librarians and teachers to ensure if the book is removed by the board, then it gives a requirement that the board give notice to the to classroom teachers and to librarians to make sure that that book is not in any classroom libraries as well. Okay, so those are the changes to those two policies based on the different statutes. What questions do you have?
I'm not sure who got to it first. Mrs. Cracky.
In the code of conduct, I had been curious about the anti-Semitism item. So that was a legislative requirement to put
Yes.
that specifically?
Yes.
Could we, as a local district, add to that or any form of racism?
That's already in there. There's prohibited conduct, harassment, and discrimination based on any protected class, which would include religion. But this law was specific to anti-Semitism.
And then in the student handbook, because we had just talked about the automatic enrollment in accelerated math, is that a change from top 40% to top 60%?
Yeah, that was based on what Dr. Webb mentioned, this change in the handbook where it talks about the testing into.
Because you had said that top 40% were auto-enrolled, but it looked like to me in the handbook we're changing that to top 60%. Did I read that wrong?
Dave, do you want to clarify on the adjustment?
They say the 60th percentile or higher, which is the top 40.
The 60th percentile or higher is the top 40%.
Okay. The way it read was a little, it looked like it was changing from 40 to 60. And our students still have the opportunity to do algebra in 7th grade.
For double acceleration, yes.
Okay. What is the process for that for parents? It wasn't totally clear in the student handbook.
They would request a TAP placement test at the end of 6th grade TAP.
Okay. Because it said something about doing away with the Algebra 1 placement exam. That was kind of crossed out. So
Parents used to also have to request to take that exam, or for their child to take that exam to be eligible for Algebra 1 in 8th grade. But that exam has been completely removed, so the decision is simply based on that on the 60th percentile on the 5th grade STAR test. So,
okay. Yeah. But the placement in Algebra 1 for 7th grade, they will take that test.
If the parent chooses, for their child to take Algebra 1 in 7th grade, rather than the natural acceleration to taking Algebra 1 in 8th grade, the parents do have that option.
So the test isn't going away completely, it's just not automatically used.
And it's not used for 8th grade Algebra 1 at all.
Okay. And I noticed we added some more allowable excuses, excused absences for career shadowing. That looked like a great change, that high school students could get 2 days. I just want to highlight that to parents because I did not know that. There were a lot of excused absences that I didn't know about as a parent of a high schooler, that kids can get excused absences to go career shadow days, college visits days to get their driver's license. I actually didn't know about all those, so that's great for parents to be aware of. I did wonder how those excused absences affect our daily funding. Does that have an impact?
Dr. Z, how do the college visits, driver's license days affect our weighted average daily accounting?
It does still affect, even though it is an excused absence, it nevertheless is still an absence.
Okay, just making sure I understand that. still worthwhile, but it's good to know. So you can maybe miss a half day or a.
You got two, maybe just take one.
And then one more, I noticed you mentioned deleting the text around COVID absences, but one COVID thing still remained, which is we still allow face coverings for the spread of any illness, or it said COVID specifically. I just wanted to clarify that.
So the verbiage was removed, and we used the TASB model, Student Code of Conduct and Student Handbook, and so it was removed from their verbiage. I believe we do have something in our dress code that addresses face coverings used to protect from illness.
So anyone still actually has the option to wear a face mask?
There has to be an exemption, I believe, within the dress code. I don't know if we have to have a note or not, or I don't think so. Yeah.
Can you just, between now and tomorrow, just help us with the clarification
Sure.
on what that is? Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, it's a security issue. Otherwise, I was just surprised to see the one COVID thing taken off, but the other left on.
We'll check into that for clarity. Good
Thank
question.
you. That's all I had.
Thank you so much.
I was just going to say, appreciate Karen's work, even though she's not here, and Holly, you too, and working with the policy committee and Michael, and it was a lot of information, but it's only a sampling of what we're going to have for next month as we continue to get more policies in place following the legislative session, which I guess will continue on for a while, special sessions. But these two policies had to be adopted because we had deadlines that were written in the statute. But I appreciate the support we got working through those and the time we spent on it.
Very good. Thank you. We appreciate that time. And of course, Karen will be back with us tomorrow evening.
I have, I want to tackle the library topic and then the cell phone topic.
Yes, sir.
So let's go library. This is just more of a statement that I'm looking for affirmation. Parents have the absolute rights, final say on anything related to library materials and their students' access to them.
Yes, sir.
And they have a means to say, I want my child to have access to this genre of library materials, and I don't want them to have access to this genre of library materials.
Yes, sir.
And we can do it electronically, web-based, all of that. So at the end of the day, parents have rights when it comes to libraries.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Correct. That is not new.
I'm looking for the affirmation that nothing has changed. It's
Nothing has changed.
Only continues.
Parental rights in this area remain strong.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's talk cell phones. Let's role play for a second.
Okay.
So I'm a student walking into Tomball High School tomorrow morning. It's 7:10. Can I use my cell phone device at 7:10?
Yes, sir.
At 7:20, can I use my cell phone device?
7:25, is that correct?
Okay. 7:25. What's the first bell?
I'm looking at the deputy because I have it. I think it's 7:25. What?
7:20. That's what I'm hearing
Okay.
from the crowd.
Okay, at 7:20, I think I should know that. At
7:20.
7:20, there will be an announcement up and away for the day. I get it wrong. Off and away for the day.
So this is good. We're rehearsing that
Off
way.
and away. It's good practice for me, right? Off and away for the day. Not up, not out, off. Turn it off. And away.
Away in a storage.
Backpack, teachers may have a specific spot, but it must be turned off and it must be away.
Okay. Off and away for the
For
day.
the day, we're just saying that for brevity, but it
Okay.
really is instructional.
What about
there.
lunchtime? I need to text somebody at
The
lunchtime.
day.
No, I can't text anybody at lunchtime? What if the band director has some coordinated instructions that they need to push out for band practice? Is there a way to get information through your cell phone during the day?
No, sir. Well, there are ways, but you would not have access to your phone to see that.
You're playing along with
I
me,
am.
right?
I am.
So final bell, roughly 2:35. What happens at 2:36? What can I do?
I would imagine there's going to be a A lot of phones turning on. It will be exactly ding, 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 ding.
So the day is done at 2:35.
Correct.
Okay. and so
7:20, 2:35.
I could be on campus prior to 7:20.
Correct. And you
on
can use
campus
your,
after 2:35 and utilize my cell phone device.
yes, sir,
Okay.
because that is not considered part of the instructional day
Okay.
for academic purposes.
So what if I'm in the band hall at fifth period and there's the metronome?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Can I use my phone for that?
No, sir.
Okay.
We hope that all the band students are
Okay.
in unison.
What about at 4 o'clock in the parking lot? Can I use my cell phone for the metronome?
Absolutely.
Okay.
After 2:35.
Okay.
7:20, 2:35. I got it now.
Okay. I appreciate you humoring me.
Well, you know, it's different, and it's not, there's a lot of emotion and thoughts around this.
Yeah.
We certainly understand that, but we will abide by the law.
I am, while I am a proponent of this, I am concerned about the burden that this places on our teachers and staff. I really want to underscore that I'm looking for parental involvement there as well. If after the first, the second, or the third, let's engage parents. This is a law. We're enforcing the law. Let's not shoulder the burden of this law when we have the opportunity for parent engagement. Correct. And so please keep us apprised of how this is going.
Okay.
And if we have concerns, need to make any adjustments, I would like maybe a month in to maybe share with the board
Sure,
how
absolutely.
this is going. And on the same thing, I'd like to also keep track of vaping. I'd like to understand now that that's not a DEAP, that's a discretion piece, how that's going.
Okay.
Because that was a concern 2 years ago.
Absolutely. And that is still a concern for health, right? I don't want people to think, oh, suddenly it's not. It will be an issue. It's a very serious issue. But of course, the focus is shifting to cell phones. It won't be easy. Everyone in this room knows a lot of time will be spent on something that is also important, but it won't be easy. But this is a team that can do hard very well. They're used to it. They're up for the challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bass.
Yeah, I have a question
Ms.
for
Bass.
Holly. So we have to have the policy for the library collection and challenges adopted by September 1st, but when do we have to have that log up and running where parents can access it?
So the catalog is already there. We have a program, it's called Destiny, right? So parents can and have been able to access the online catalogs already.
Okay.
So that's been a practice that we've had in
And that
place.
shows which books their child checks out. And okay.
Yes.
Correct.
Perfect.
Okay. Hearing no additional questions, thank you very much, Holly Sherman. Appreciate it. Our final report for tonight. Yes. Good job. Look at that. Our final report is the construction update. Zach Bowles, our Chief Financial Officer, will lead us in this next report. Mr. Bowles, who I would like to say today, as we were in our final campus, pointed out, he pointed to one of our staff members and said, "See her? She was my teacher in elementary." And I said, "But Zach, you didn't go to school here." Well, she was a teacher in Rosebud Lot?
Rosebud Lot.
Rosebud Lot,
It has
ISD.
has less people in the town than one of our elementary campuses.
And yet that teacher is now an incredible teacher here in Tomball ISD. And so I did a little activity where I asked them to raise the hand of if they've taught someone that's become a doctor or this or that, or a CFO, perhaps a redheaded CFO. And so we got a picture of them together. Anyway, I digress. Mr. Bowles.
All right. Good evening, President Dr. Pratt, Dr. Salazar Zamora, members of the board. As we start another new school year, we find ourselves once again opening yet another new school in Tomball ISD. And so joining West Elementary out at the West Complex, we have West Intermediate, and I will say that campus is ready to welcome students tomorrow morning and is ready to go. Over the past 2.5 days, as Dr. Z mentioned, the Cabinet had the opportunity to go out and visit with every campus and the staff members at each campus. And I will say that I had to follow Dr. Webb at every single one of those campuses, so I'm glad Holly had to do that tonight. But really, in every visit, we had the opportunity, and Dr. Z and I both talked about the success and progress that the district's seen due to the help and success of our previous and past bond packages, and that includes Bond 2021. So tonight, just wanted to take the opportunity to give a quick update and look back at the projects that we've completed under Bond 2021, but also to look at the current status of some of those projects that are still pending. So when we think about Bond 2021, those projects were really consolidated into three main areas of the district. And so the first is the development of the 205-acre complex, now known as the West Complex, that was purchased back in 2012. And so as you can see on the list here, you can see a lot of site development was required to prepare that site for 3 new campuses. And so you have the perimeter roads that were needed for each campus, the county roads that are running through it, whether it's traffic lights and turn lanes, and then the detention, storm sewer systems, drainage. A lot of infrastructure work went into developing that site and getting it ready for our campuses that we have open today. And so you'll see there are a couple of those site development projects still listed as in progress, but that's related to the final development and the stages for opening Tomball West High School in August of 2026. And so that's really geared around connecting up Destination Drive to Mushki. And so getting our lights set up out there, as well as our final work with our drainage with Harris County Flood Control. So once completed on that site, it'll be home to West Elementary, West Intermediate, and Tomball West High School, as well as all of the athletic facilities for the West High School, and the Ag Project Barn. Both Tomball West High School and the Ag Project Barn are in progress. We are actually you'll see the bid for the Ag Project Barn being brought back to a future board meeting here very soon. But both of those projects are on schedule and intended to open in August of 2026. In addition to our campus facilities out there at the West Complex, we also have our facilities that are needed for water treatment to provide water to our campuses, and then make sure that we are able to get all of the wastewater services up to our wastewater treatment plant there just south of 99 that is serving both the campuses and facilities at the Beckendorf Complex, and will also serve our facilities there at the West Complex. So again, once all of these projects are completed, you're going to have those 3 brand new campuses and have fully developed a piece of property that was purchased more than a decade ago. So just a few pictures here to see some of the infrastructure work that was done. You have obviously the roads that were built through the complex. Cypress Heights is the county road that runs north-south through the West Complex. Destination Drive in the top right there connects Cypress Heights Street out to Mushki and provides that secondary entrance. We also have the entrance there off Jurgen that really feeds into West Elementary and West Intermediate. And then we have our water treatment plant and the sanitary lift station. You've seen the pictures of West Elementary. At this time a year ago, that library didn't look exactly like that when we opened the campus, but it got there very quickly. And so wanted to showcase that because it is a great picture that Casey sent me earlier today just to highlight that finished product. And then West Intermediate, obviously I can say that the grass is green. It is not a dirt patch out there. It may be a little high, but it's green for sure. And then again, another beautiful picture there of the library at West Intermediate with the Dr. Z, the name of the tiger. Tabby.
Tabby the tiger. She.
So
no one likes it, but you know.
Definitely size is deceiving on a picture here, but when you're there in person, it's a little bit intimidating to stand in front and talk to the staff there at West Intermediate. And then Tomball West High School, just a few progress pictures here. You can see where what the campus looked like in December and January, those 2 top pictures, and then the amount of progress that's been made over the last 6 months there as of the end of July, looking at what will be Tomball West High School in a much closer to completion status. And we've got still one more year worth of work, but that campus is coming along quite nicely. All right, so the Tomball Innovation Center is now another one of our district complexes that are housing, district facilities, but it took a very different, had a very different beginning than what we saw out at the West Complex. So that 70-acre complex started out as the headquarters of BJ Services, and the district was able to purchase that complex and all the buildings and facilities and everything that they left behind out of bankruptcy in 2021, and have really focused on the development of this piece of property through the renovation of existing facilities. So these were existing structures that were at the site. There was some site development that needed to be done to resize the detention for future growth, make sure that you are adding the right amount of parking space that we need for our agricultural facility. Traffic lights for safety for students and staff getting into the complex, and then again just some site preparation for future development that was planned, that we would have the excess property there on that site to be able to develop in the future. And then when we also had some buildings there that didn't really serve a purpose for Tomball ISD, and so they were demolished as part of the process of the site development. At the Tomball Innovation Center, we now have our standalone Tomball Star Academy and their own campus. They were able to move out of the second story of Tomball High School. We have our Tomball ISD Agricultural Center. We have our expanded CTE programs in Building 6 to accommodate aviation and graphic design. And then we also have a very, very substantial size warehouse that serves the district as a whole, but also we'll have offices there for our maintenance department to move over once they're complete. And then in Building 2, we have our district offices that house finance and special services, a number of other staff. But really, we didn't have to do a whole lot to Building number 2, just everybody brought their technology and moved in. And so didn't take much to fully utilize that space. And we do have a few pending projects there that we're looking at as far as just some reconfiguration of existing space that used to house cubicles that are now gone. I will say they are gone. And so we have the ability to reutilize that space in a different means to serve our needs in the district. And then in progress right now is the conversion of those offices and rebuild of those offices for the maintenance department. So just a few pictures there to showcase the agricultural center, some inside shots of the building number 6, where we converted that space into new CTE space. And then you've got Tomball Star Academy, and then again a lot of the site development work where we've prepped that future site, which will now become the new Tomball Intermediate School. And we had the removal, you can see there in the top right-hand corner, the removal of those existing buildings so that we could increase our parking for needs at the complex, not just for the Tomball Star Academy or the CTE programs, but also the agricultural center and the shows and projects that we have occurring there, events that we have occurring there. And along with that, we needed the much bigger detention space that was relocated from its original location. And then our third really cluster of projects occurred at Tomball High School. And so this was improvements to upgrade the cafeteria service lines. We are converting the old ag show barn into additional CTE space. We've replaced the cooling towers at Tomball High School as well as the roofing where those units were located. And we've done some renewals of the chillers that were at that campus as well as part of the improvements to Tomball High School. And then there may be a correction to this, but the fire alarm system update that's throughout the campus has been ongoing over the course of the summer, and I believe is still in progress at this time. And so the only other things there that are somewhat pending for Tomball High School is a rework of the security vestibule in the front entrance, as well as taking a look at opportunities to expand some of our fine arts space in the areas of dance, something like dance, for those programs. So again, just a few pictures to showcase what we've done there. You can see the changes for the Tomball High School serving line, the added welding space in the old ag show barn, and then what that floor plan really looks like now that we've converted that space fully. And then I don't have a lot of words for this one. I like to just show the pictures here because it's sort of hard to describe just how great of a project the Early Excellence Academy turned out to be. And so just wanted to showcase again the pictures of that campus. Hard to imagine that all of that is packed into about 2.5 acres of what used to be just an open field in the district, and we were able to utilize that space, and in the span of about 8 months, 9 months, able to construct something that looks like that. And then our final sort of standalone project that we have going on right now, and this is in progress again with a completion date scheduled for August of 2026, is the expansion of Creekside Park Junior High, and to add in space for our 5th graders in the Creekside area to alleviate some of the capacity issues that we have there at the elementary campuses. And so just a quick picture here of where we stand. This was a picture from last week. We've done a lot of infrastructure work on this site over the course of the spring semester and the summer. We've got the slab poured, the steel is standing, and so you can sort of see what that back entrance will look like from that rendering there. But this will be work that continues over the course of the year, and I did apologize to the campus this morning. It's a lot of work that's got to get done in a short period of time. It's going to be a little bit messy. It's going to be a little bit loud, but that team's going to be there working to make sure that we minimize any impacts on the campus throughout this year. All right, so that was Bond 2021. Unfortunately, right now, I don't have a lot of pretty pictures to show of Bond 2025 for an update, but what I did want to talk about a little bit was something that occurred over the summer, and that was the issuance of our first sale of the Bond 2025 authorization from voters in May. And so we went out in early July and went to the market to issue $200 million in bond proceeds. We had a very successful bond sale, and we're able to issue those bonds at a premium, which means for the district, we were able to generate $200 million in bond proceeds, so we get to use that money, but we only had to issue an actual principal debt that we'll repay of $193 million. So we were able to generate an extra $7 million in premium. The district doesn't have to issue that principal debt, but we get the proceeds and the benefit of it. Our goal when we issue debt and our structure is to ensure that we're maintaining an average maturity that's under 15 years. And so we were able to, after we structured the debt and after the sale, our average maturity turned out to be 14.36 years. So we hit our standard of maintaining a average maturity of all of our debt not to exceed 15 years. But we also made sure that none of our debt has a maturity that extends beyond 25 years. So again, those shortened maturities just ensure that we're not paying an excessive amount of interest over time, even though the state allows districts to take debt out to 40 years. We choose not to do that as a district, and we keep that to 25. And then our expected interest rate for the 25 sale and on that series was to be under 4.5%. And so with all costs factored in, our true interest rate ended up being just under 5%, 4.47. And when we went into the market July, right there at the beginning of July, the market was sitting right around 5.2%. So that's a big thanks to our underwriting team for the pre-marketing that they did for our bonds, but it also is a reflection of the strength of Tomball ISD's name, our financial rating. We have we generate a lot of interest, a lot of demand from investors. And so they come out, and typically when we go to the market, we go for a 90-minute order period. And in this one, we were actually almost 80% sold within 30 minutes of being on the market. And so a lot of demand, a lot of interest, and that helps us to reduce the interest rates overall as well. Okay, that's the end of any questions at this point?
Okay, thank you so much, Zach. Great job. Appreciate it. Go into the meeting now.
We're going to go review the business off. Okay. It's 7:50. Okay, I'd like to take let's call it a 6-minute break, and reconvene and review the business agenda. Thank you. Okay, the board will now reconvene in open session. It is 8:01 p.m. Dr. Z, I'd like for you to proceed with a review of the business agenda, please, for
Yes,
tomorrow
sir.
night.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pratt. In reviewing the business agenda for tomorrow evening, August the 12th, 2025, we have, of course, consent agenda items, approval of minutes as listed, as well as a few requests for out-of-state field trips for Tomball Memorial High School as listed, for the HOSA speech and debate to go to the Harvard Speech and Debate Tournament, and for choir to New York City, as well as the final speech and debate to the National Speech and Debate Tournament. Then we have the revision of the following policies in accordance with the new legislative requirements, and they are for FNCE local and EFB local.
Can you just pause there for a second?
Yes, sir.
Do any board members have any questions of the superintendent or her team specific to items F or G? Okay.
Hearing none, we have a number of donations, starting with $150,000 from Timber Creek Elementary, $8,420.89 West Elementary, PTO to West Elementary, of course, $17,195 from Creekview Elementary, PTO, $8,016.09 from Rose Hill Elementary, PTO, and then one final donation, which is actually from Tejas Barbecue to support the Tomball ISD competitive barbecue teams for $15,000, and it's a smoker. Okay, that concludes. We have of course, budget amendments and revised projections, and then the human talent that you normally see under consent agenda. Any questions before I move on to the considered agenda?
Yes, I did have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
The PTO donation for Timber Creek.
Yes,
I was
ma'am.
a little surprised on the breakout on that to see $65,000 for Chromebooks, only because we just passed, a bond item to do a technology refresh.
They do tend to do really well with that fundraiser. It's an extremely large amount of money. I did ask for the breakdown, just again to have a review of it. It does include various Chromebooks and smart panels, supplemental instructional materials, instructional resources, teacher resources, and what they are calling community engagement, but that's for an international stream night event and science days. So to your point, to your question on the Chromebooks, again, the PTO, they come together and they raise dollars, and they have, it is really we leave that decision up to them as the ones that have raised the dollars as to working with the campus within some parameters of what they would like to do to spend those dollars. And so they felt that they would like to have that amount, which is a high amount, absolutely, for additional Chromebooks and smart panels.
Is it smart panels? Sorry. Is it docking stations for the Chromebooks?
No, I believe it's additional smart panels, 6 of them. Yeah.
I read it wrong, sorry.
The spirit of any PTO donation, when it comes to assets that the district may typically be responsible for, the spirit of it is complementary,
Correct.
not supplementary. Is that consistent
Absolutely.
here?
That's a very good point. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to considered agenda, we do have a number of them. Mr. Bowles. The first one is designate a delegate and alternate for the TASB 2025 Delegate Assembly.
Yeah, so on board on that one, I can certainly designate from the chair. So the Delegate Assembly is a great opportunity for, I think, a new school board member to participate in that. And so for me, I'd likely draw upon a new school board member to be the delegate and the alternate. And so can certainly visit with you, but that's the spirit of where I was thinking, just to get a real good sense of what the delegate and delegate assembly is all about. So likely make a nomination from the chair tomorrow for that one.
Okay, thank you. B is to approve the Tomball ISD Student Code of Conduct for the 25-26 school year. And of course, you had that well-done presentation tonight. C is to approve the 25-26 Texas Teacher Evaluation and Support System, or T-Test. And for our newer board members, many of these come annually at the beginning of the year. This would be one of them. The next one is also one of them. Adopt a resolution identifying hazardous routes that exist within 2 miles of district campuses. At E and F.
Dr. Z?
Yes, sir.
On D, this is more of an affirmation question. We offer bus transportation
To all.
within 2 miles of every campus. We have not had a history where we limit transportation when it's within 2 miles of any campus, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay.
And something I think we should continue to be very proud of, particularly given budget constraints. So I appreciate this.
This is
board.
really just about identifying hazardous routes. This has nothing to do with offering or not offering within that 2 mile limit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Because it helps supplement some of the income, right? Because
It's a
otherwise,
funding.
yeah, otherwise we don't have,
Correct.
there's no funding within 2 miles. But
Correct.
if there are hazardous
Have
routes,
to
then there's some
identify them.
funding that you can get.
That is correct. E and F are also annual, and the first is to approve the 25-26 MOU between Tomball ISD and Montgomery County JJAEP. Its counterpart is, again, approve, I think I did something. Approve the MOU between Tomball ISD and the Harris County JJAEP. So one is for Montgomery County and one is Harris County, and again, you are asked to do this annually. G is approve the application for optional flexible school day program for 25-26 school year, which you also are asked to do regularly once a year. H is the interlocal agreement with Harris County for school resource officers, the services for SROs.
And Dr. Z, so in this interlocal agreement, that will take our school resource officer count with Mark Herman's office to 31?
Yes, sir.
correct?
That is
31?
correct.
Okay.
31.
Thank you.
And that one goes out to October of '26, or
Yes,
I
because
guess
of their
into
cycle.
September.
Yes, sir,
26.
because of their budget cycle, which is a little bit different than ours. I is something I'm proud of. It's something that the communications team that is present here tonight has been working closely with. It is part of the request when we ask families. When we put surveys out, we listen to what families are telling us, and that is to accept a contract from Final Sight in the amount of $153,580 for a two-way chat and mobile app using strategic plan and general funds. We will allow staff to continue using what they have used in the past for the remainder of this year. Some contracts were already agreed upon and some are just free of service. But moving forward, it will be one site. The other piece to this, the very important piece, is that it does help us with security and tighten it up for cybersecurity issues moving forward. So very, very proud, and thank you to our comms team that's here tonight to ensure that we continue to be progressive in this area for communication.
So Martha, let's go back for a second. So we anticipate that we will utilize this feature with parents instead of email and texting?
No, this is just on top of. It's another layer of communication. So example, if a parent wanted to let a group of students know this is going to take place, maybe a coach, or maybe they might use Remind. This would to not have 10 other sites, but to pull it together in one.
Okay.
There are multiple ways in which you can communicate. We're trying to streamline it for safety and security and ease of everybody.
Because right now, don't we have like Remind, Sports U?
There's many different ones.
Band app.
Wanted, exactly. You know all the names, Tina.
So you're thinking this type of platform would be for the informational, more immediate kind of communication with students and or parents about, okay. Because just in the write-up, the backup, I noticed it was talking about replacing email and that type thing because of the how slow responses seem to come from email. So I just...
No, sir, it would not be replacing that.
So, and kind of building on that, this is a platform that allows parents to be informed as well.
Yes.
So if I think about the Remind app and I think about Sports U, which are two I'm familiar with.
Correct.
There's a parent communication piece to this as well. And so this will ultimately replace all of that.
Correct. So we have one hub.
So I need to just double check something. So a coach or math teacher or band director, they're not group texting students directly. So it's a two-part question, texting directly and then group texting directly today?
No, they should not be.
Okay.
Individual, or they utilize other tools such as this.
So we're going to push everybody to make sure they're using the Final Sight app for all means of communication.
And we're working through it. So again, if they're utilizing something now, we're not just ripping the Band-Aid off. We're going to work through this
Transition.
and transition smoothly to make sure we have an effective launch.
Okay.
Comms, have I left anything out? You're smiling. Thumbs up. Okay.
Thank you.
See, I do listen.
I wanted to understand why on the bid for this, it looked like the highest bid. I'm sure there's more value. I kind of want to understand the choice.
I think it was the bundle of the package and what they offer and the level of security. We already use Final Sight for other things, and they have really proven to be very good partners.
And I think also maybe it might go to your question too, Jennifer, is if I read this correctly, the quoted amount is for a 4-year term?
Yes.
That's not an annual amount for 4 years. That's the lump sum for 4 years?
Yes, sir.
Whereas the other two that were recited in there, both of those were, I think, 1 year.
Oh, very good. And what the backup, is that what you were going to say, Dr. Schindewolf?
Yes, it's a multi-year contract versus the 1 year, so it's actually not the highest.
And we are very comfortable with their level of service as well.
So like right now, I have an app with my student's orchestra director, a different app for her coach, a different app for her FFA teachers. So I'm going to have one app for all those different things, but perhaps different channels or groups within that one app. Am I understanding this? But it's not going to replace emails, to register your student in the summer or anything like that.
Right.
That
so
part will remain.
This comes
We'll
from
have text.
parent feedback over time.
Okay.
Where they say, I have 4 students in secondary school who 7 teachers, that's 28 teachers who use different apps. I want to go to one place to get communication. So they'll be able to see all of their students and click on exactly what they want to see. So there will be training and soft rollout this year. People who want to use it definitely can, but we're not going to say this is all or nothing this year. It'll be a transition year for the start of the next school year. This will be all we use.
Will I be able to tap by student?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think we're going to be very, very pleased. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, thank you. Great questions. Okay, moving on. We have item J, approve an increase of $70,628.38 for the purchase of child nutrition equipment at Tomball West High School for Stafford Smith Incorporated under the RFP listed, increasing the contract from $2,832,709 to $2,903,337.38. Project originally approved in April of 2024. The next item is to approve an increase of $28,876 to the amount originally approved for construction of Early Excellence Academy sidewalks, increasing the total amount from $120,809.88 to $149,685.88 using bonds 2021. I have 2 comments on this item. The first one is I want to once again thank the city of Tomball for working with us because we did ask for a delay on this. And I would like to point out that you do have a visual in front of you. If you'd like to take a minute to look at that, to kind of direct yourself of where this is. And this increase, when I had a visit with Mr. Bowles, really comes down to additional security that we were asked, that we felt was necessary for pedestrians in certain areas that drove the cost up just a little bit. Okay. And remember that sidewalks are now a requirement if you have any new building or alterations to any facility within Tomball proper.
Okay, so this is on Kiefer.
Let me see.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Early Excellence is here.
This is the parking lot.
So it's
Here.
from, on the west side, it's running from the First Community Bank kiosk.
Correct.
Is that right? And this is going all the way to the existing sidewalk that is close to the technology center?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
All the way up that front.
Okay, what is I don't get the fence part. So I get the concrete part. What's the fence part?
So it's not a fence part, it's a
a rail.
railing.
A railing.
Just a railing along the inside because of the depth of the ditch.
That was the piece for safety and security that was recommended.
And we're doing railing on the entire length or just on sub pieces?
Not the entire length. The ditch would only require in specific portions of that, primarily right there where you see the longest stretch.
I see.
Because you're ditching under the sidewalk to get water off the...
No. When the sidewalk lays in, it'll lay really right next to the roadway.
Okay.
And so then on the side of the sidewalk facing Early Excellence Academy, one of the cost drivers in there was the requirement to put in a head wall to help prevent any erosion underneath the sidewalk. Off the side of that is going to be the drop into the ditch. So if you've walked along the 249 road next to Pecos Grill, you see just a straight drop off. That's essentially what would be there. And so because of that drop into the ditch, the railings is what was recommended.
And the ditch is going to be between the sidewalk and EEA parking lot?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to get into the details, but can we not just fill in the ditch? Can we just put a sewage pipe setup and just fill in the whole ditch and do away with this sidewalk need?
I don't really want to speak out of line, but I would say like this is how the city of Tomball has permitted the project.
We're way down a path is what you guys are probably looking at me and telling me through your eyes. I'm looking at Jim Ross and Robert and Mitch over there. Okay.
It's a lot of eyes.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next item, L, approve an increase of $332,352.16 to the RFQ listed contract for Millennium Project Services for the construction on renovations at Tomball Innovation Center, Building Number 6, CTE, from the amount listed to the amount listed with no increase to the overall budget of $4,300,000 originally approved in November of 2023 using Bond 2021 funds. M is to approve an increase of $97,932.72 to the RFQ listed contract for Millennium Project Services or Solutions for equipment related to renovations at the Tomball High School cafeteria from the amount listed to the amount listed with no increase to the overall budget of $4,500,000 originally approved also March of 24 using again child nutrition and Bond 2021 funds. Item N is to approve an increase of $124,407.46 to the RFQ listed contract for Millennium Project Solutions for construction on renovations of the Tomball High School CTE from the amount listed to the amount listed with no increase to the overall budget of $10 million originally approved in February of 2024. Item O is to approve the recommendation to accept the negotiated fixed fee amount of $9,902,130 for construction manager agent project manager for Bond 2025 projects and approve work authorizations 9 and 10. And there were memos with specifics regarding items 9 and 10 with more explanation. P is to approve the purchase of 17 vehicles for the maintenance department from Parkway Chevrolet in the amount of $953,932.60 utilizing purchasing co-op contract buy board number listed using Bond 2025 funds.
I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain why we chose to go with Parkway Chevrolet over the other?
Yeah. So with the bids and the quotes that were received for both the maintenance and the custodial side, Parkway was selected from the maintenance standpoint, the ability to with the three quotes that you saw, I believe one did not include delivery fees and costs associated with getting those vehicles from their location in San Antonio all the way to us in Tomball. And given the number of vehicles, that would have been something that we wouldn't have been able to send our team to do. The other vendor that responded was not able to quote the same types of vehicles with the same packages that were necessary. And so whether it was a lift gate or different type of improvement to the vehicle, that's ultimately where Parkway pulled away. And being a local vendor, there's no cost for delivery, and they were able to provide those vehicles to us. On the custodial side, you will see in the quote sheet that I believe one of the vendors shows as a lower price than Parkway that we've set, but included in their cost breakdown, they did not have pricing for the Suburban, and they couldn't provide the model Suburban and price quote that was needed for that particular vehicle. So that's the only reason why that quote shows lower, including when we look at what that could potentially be included into their quote, if they were able to locate the vehicle or a similar vehicle, the pricing for Parkway would have been lower at that point.
Thank you very much.
Well, hold on. I had the same question Tina did. I don't know that on when we talk about one of them having, I guess it was Gun, not having delivery charges included, when you look at the itemized invoices, it shows $335 per vehicle for delivery fee. So it looked like to me that was already included unless that's a different delivery fee.
So I don't believe that was the delivery fee that would have been to get it to Tomball. That might have been the delivery fee that was to get it to their location that they were passing on to the district.
Well, that's what I thought too, but it seemed to also include the destination charge, that is on the sticker, right? But I have to go to page, I don't even see what page I'm on here. But I have to go to their deal worksheet. And their third item on dealer installed accessories is delivery at $335.
But for that kind of money, we can't ask them to waive the delivery charges?
If they're apples to apples, and this is a delivery charge, they clearly are lower.
So on Gun, the other information that we have in the backup is they weren't able to deliver vehicles with the gate-style lifts, and that
Okay.
made a difference on the pricing in some of their vehicles. But as far as what we were communicated with, the delivery charge for getting it to Tomball hadn't been added at that point.
We can go back and review that, though, and discuss it tomorrow, just for clarity.
Yeah.
Will you give us that, the evening?
Try to do an apples to apples as best you can.
Okay.
Of the three.
Absolutely.
With delivery, with the features, and then normalize what the math is.
We will do that.
I
We'll
think
provide
everybody's trying
that
to
for
figure
you.
out.
Yeah, I think it'll be easiest if we pull it offline and do that, and then have you look at that before a vote
That'd be
tomorrow.
good. Yeah,
Very good.
thanks.
Thank you for that. The next item is similar as well, and we can do the same for this. Approve the purchase of 11 vehicles from Parkway Chevrolet for the custodial department in the amount of $470,063.67, utilizing purchasing co-op contract by board, and again, bonds 2025 funds. We can do the same thing for that, if you'd like.
Please do.
Okay, very good. The next item is item R. Approve the negotiated fee amount of 6% and contract amount of $2,700,000 with Huckabee Architects for architectural plans and construction of the replacement intermediate school for Tomball Intermediate under RFQ listed approved in June of 2025 using bonds 2025 funds. S is to approve the recommendation to select facility sources to replace existing high-volume, low-speed HVLS fans at the following facilities: Tomball High School Agricultural Barn, Tomball Memorial High School Agricultural Barn, and Tomball Innovation Center Building Number 4 Warehouse in the amount of $268,386.57, utilizing purchasing co-op contract, choice partners, and also bond 2025 funds. T is to approve the recommendation to select Hunton Services to complete the replacement and renewal rebuild of chillers, air handler units, and outside air handler units located at Tomball High School Field House in the amount of $1,301,732, utilizing purchasing co-op contract, choice partners, and bond 2025 funds. U is to approve the recommendation to select Automated Logic to upgrade all building automated system controls located at Tomball High School Field House in the amount of $194,900, utilizing purchasing co-op contract buy board and bonds 2025 funds. V is to approve the recommendation to select Hunton Services to replace the renewal rebuild of 32 air handler units located at Tomball Junior High School in the amount of $1,166,822.34, utilizing purchasing co-op choice partners using bond 2025 funds.
Hey, Martha,
Yes, sir.
I kind of got a consolidated question, I guess.
Okay, the last two?
Yeah, well, three, really. The middle one, the electronics,
The fans?
I'm not really worried about. But, okay, so using this renewal service, we knew with the high school, we had to also opt into the warranty in order to get the preventative maintenance in order to get the 7-year warranty.
Correct.
So I noticed that on the field house chillers, there was some acknowledgement that we would have a 7-year warranty on that. So I'm assuming we're opting in on the PM, or somehow or another we get the 7-year?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, and then with respect to the air handlers only at the junior high with the renewal process, is there any warranty on that?
There's a 5-year built into it, but there's not an additional cost there for the preventative maintenance.
Okay, but on the field house?
For the chiller specifically, there is the additional service, but not the air handler unit. It's already built in 5-year.
Okay, so 5-year on the air handlers at junior high, and then at the high school at the field house, we are paying for that PM service.
For the
We get the
chiller.
7-year warranty, for the chiller, and
Yes.
we get the 7-year warranty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you. Next item is W, award RFP listed charter bus and tour booking services to multiple vendors. The term of this proposal will be from September 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, with automatic renewals for an additional 2 years. X is to approve the purchase of 17 model C3411 CE school buses and 7 model C2608 CE school buses from Longhorn Bus Sales for the purpose of home-to-school transportation for both regular and special education students in the amount of $3,910,896, utilizing buy board contract listed using bond 2025 funds.
Martha?
Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. I noticed it was 3 different bus companies,
Yes.
but this is a different one than we've used in the past. Can you explain the difference between
Yes.
the 3 and?
That really came down to timing. The lead time for the other 2 is exceptionally longer, and it would take us much, much longer, and we didn't have a concern as far as quality. So when it was a review of apples to apples, we went with the company that can provide it to us sooner.
So does this bus company put it, I knew she was talking about the international motor. Does this company have the international motor in its buses as well?
It's actually the same company. It has a different name than it did last.
Okay.
With the last time.
Thank you.
So on the, 24 buses here, the plan would be to have all of these by end of calendar year 2025 in our possession? Is that the idea? January 2026.
Okay, so very close.
Okay. So the 17 could be in our receipt sooner than that. The balance would potentially be as late as January.
Yes, sir.
But I think what you're expressing is the other vendors had a longer lead time, we would not have access to these buses, and we have a need for 2 years.
Yeah, 24 months.
So 5 months versus 2 years. So this is, to your point, this is a timing thing.
Correct.
And we need these buses. Okay.
Does anybody want to hypothesize why one company has a bunch of buses made sitting on the lot and two other ones have 18-month lead times?
So in talking to Sandy, just real quick, and then Sandy, if I'm wrong, you please just jump up to the microphone. But in talking to Sandy, all the buses are built to made, so we're talking at least 18 months lead time. This company was a little bit forward thinking and having some of these on the lot. Sandy does have a good relationship with this vendor, and they said, if you're interested in these are available. They're going to be getting AC shortly, and we can get them to you in a much faster turnaround time. So I think they were just reading the writing on the wall and saying that there's a need for buses and had them available. This is a vendor that we have used and have had great success with the product.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. We're excited about that. Next item, Y, is for the 25-26 school year, we delegate contractual authority to obligate the school district under Texas Education Code TEC 11.1511C4 to the superintendent solely for the purpose of obligating the district under TEC 48.257 and TEC Chapter 49. Subchapters A and D and the rules adopted by the Commissioner of Education as authorized under TEC 49.006. This includes approval of the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit, netting Chapter 48 funding. And if you have any questions, Zach would be happy to answer them.
Could he kind of explain a little bit of what that is in layman's term?
So every year, this is an annual thing. TEA will send out a notification to those districts that are identified as basically being in excess of local revenue. For some districts, that will mean that they are subject to Chapter 49 recapture. Other districts, it's a recognition that you're in excess, whether it's Tier 1 or Tier 2 funding. But for Tomball ISD, we're recognized as in excess of local revenue for Tier 2, but we're not subject to recapture. So we don't owe any money back to the state for that. But they do require that every district that receives that notification, we have to make a selection basically to tell them if in the event we were to become Chapter 49 recapture, how would we handle netting that expense and repaying that. So this is the wording that's required by TEA. Every year we have to confirm it with them, and it has to be specifically in this manner. And we have to approve it and submit the backup documentation from the board meeting before we can actually adopt our tax rate.
Thank you, Zach. Item Z, approve an increase of $91,203 in year 2 and $160,578 in year 3 of the RFP listed for grounds maintenance contract for spring nursery and landscape with a new contract total of $640,325 for year 2 and $923,845 in year 3. And of course, that includes bringing on the new schools that we've had and will have.
I think it's actually 723.
Oh, sorry, 723,845. Thank you.
Just one question, and I'd ask Zach this, just for the benefit of the board. Zach, the evaluation of utilizing a third party versus in-house, can you just talk through the logic that you and Mitch and team talked through?
Yeah, so definitely in consideration here, we continue to look at the opportunity of whether or not it's more beneficial or cost effective to continue to bid out the grounds maintenance program or to bring that internal, have our own teams, have our own equipment, and what that means. What we went through and evaluated the cost of building an internal team, building out all of the equipment, the time, the effort, the number of crews that we would have to run, the cost there did outweigh the cost of continuing to go out for bid, and especially specifically the cost that we're looking at for the grounds maintenance with spring nursery, but also the ability to keep staff or maintain the staffing that would be required to run those crews, we felt like would be a challenge in itself as well for us.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Pratt. With a little bit of foreshadowing, looking forward to not just one A, but two A's. The next item is double A, and that's to approve the superintendent's salary and benefits for 25-26 and the extension of the superintendent's contract. And that does conclude our meeting for tomorrow evening. I'll turn it back over to our president, Dr. Pratt.
Thank you, Dr. Z. At this time, we are prepared to go into a closed session, but before I do that, I wanted to afford my fellow board members the opportunity for any board comments. And so the floor is open. Mrs. Salem? No? You got it? Okay.
Just want to say welcome back. Looking forward to a great school year, and we'll be praying God's blessing upon the district.
I just have the same comments. Welcome back. Have a great year. Some of you have already been back a little longer. Y'all have your footing down. We're trying to get ours down. Jennifer Collier and I started our morning at 5 o'clock this morning on the football field for senior sunrise. It's been a day, but it'll be a great week, and good luck.
I echo the same sounds. Welcome back. And I'm excited. I have 4 kids at home, is excited as well. So
That's funny.
Okay, with that, the Board of Trustees will now convene in a closed session for the purpose authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, including but not limited to the following section and purposes: Texas Government Code 551.071, consultation with board attorney regarding all matters as authorized by law; Texas Government Code 551.072, deliberation regarding purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property; Texas Government Code 551.074, deliberation regarding appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, to include the superintendent's evaluation; Texas Government Code 551.076, deliberation regarding security personnel or devices. No voting will take place in this closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussions in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in the open meeting. The time is now 8:38 p.m. We are now adjourned. Correction, we are now moving into closed session. Thank you. Thank you, Tina.